fighting a war for our podcast.
Great.
We just spent approximately 4.5 hours.
We mostly did the March Madness bracket, but it was also looking for a quote.
4.5 hours were spent trying to find an opening quote for this movie. A movie I love, one of my favorites of the year, possibly my single favorite of the year. I'm chewing on the idea that it might be my number one. It jumped up majorly for me on second viewing after loving it the first time. I found
2025
for the year 2025. This, of course, is an episode in 2026, but I'm talking about my 2025 film rankings, and I think this film has an excellent script, and the internet is just not letting me find those quotes. But he does constantly say,
I'm fighting a war for this family.
I'm fighting a war for this family, and I turned it into I'm fighting a war for this podcast.
Yeah.
No other choice.
That's all you have to say?
To that quote, I mean, he is.
Would you fight a war for your family?
I mean, sure. What would I murder other people to get a job?
That's not what I asked.
I don't think so.
That's not what I asked. I asked, would you fight a war for your family?
Well, that is a very vague and leading question.
It's a yes or no question.
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Wow.
Unless it's some sort of metaphorical war that's like.
Well, he's fighting a metaphor. He's fighting a metaphorical war for his family.
Let me reframe the question. That's fair, Marie.
I'm sorry, what?
Marie Barty?
Who?
Salinas? I'm sorry, Mayor.
Mayor, the woman of blank check?
Mayor of blank check.
Thanks for the introduction, Griffin.
Anytime. David, would you fight a philosophical, metaphorical war for your family? Yes or no?
Sure. Let's do it.
Follow-up question. Would you murder people in order to get a job?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I would.
Follow-up question. Would you get into an airplane, like a fighter jet?
What am I doing with it?
Flying really fast.
No, that's fine, but
also
is
fighting a war.
Right, is it being
shooting people with missiles?
No, that's really not my thing.
But David, what if all the enemies you were fighting and firing against just had generic Power Rangers helmets and there were no flags of any kind to imply
so sort
which
of a
country
Top
you were at war with?
A Top Gun Maverick situation,
Right.
yeah.
What if there's some plausible deniability of, are these rabbits?
It would be funny if John Hamm was like, our enemy is the robot nation.
Yes.
If they just fully leaned into that, like, they're not people. Or Tim Robinson comes on and he goes like, they don't matter. He just does a little speech.
This is Power Rangers Dino Force.
What if it's like a thing where it's a stealth Mission Impossible move where they're all the entity?
Oh, they take their masks off and underneath it's just the glowing eyes.
Just like some scrambled code.
The blue eye of Sauron.
Speaking of fighting a war for one's family,
please.
Again, this is somehow relating to my family. This is a battle I'm doing with a robot.
Yes. Isn't that the plot of Mitchell's versus the Machines?
Ask you
Family
major
versus
questions
robot?
that you have to filter through your own life.
I saw that movie once, and obviously the director of Mitchell's versus the Machines is a fan of our show and has been on the show.
Future guest.
I know. He's a great guy.
The great
and I
Mike
loved
Miranda.
him,
Yeah.
and I love that movie. But I watched it once, and my first kid, my daughter, was, if that. She was very young, and I remember she had like a witching hour, sort of like screamy time during it. And I'm so scarred by that, and I've never gone back. I gotta go back.
Sorry.
I remember that, and this is inexact science, but in my memory, that was the first movie I heard you run through the filter of as the father of a daughter. Even as an infant, where you were like, this triggered certain things emotionally in me as a father. You turned to the mother of your child and said, as a father.
Hello, mother.
I feel like that movie would probably eviscerate you now.
Interesting.
And will continue to eviscerate you.
I remember it being just very charming and funny.
I think it's really, really good. But I think it...
Are they doing a sequel, or is that kind of a maybe?
I believe that has been announced.
Yeah.
I believe that is officially announced. Marie, would you fight a war for your family?
So what I was going to say is that my husband has become obsessed with this. It's a TikTok.
A single TikTok?
But yes. But when I say that he's become obsessed with it, like, I mean in an ironic way. Like, he doesn't actually subscribe to this worldview. But it's a guy who's like one of those like alpha male influencers.
Sure.
Who...
Smart guy. Sounds like
the phrase was, when I walk into a room, my wife knows I'm a predator.
Jesus Right.
And he means it as in like men should be like alpha predators out there going to war for their families. But whenever I hear a man call himself a predator, I think of like, I don't know, rapists.
Yeah.
That comes right to mind. I think of the Yautja, and I think of.
I was going to say, if the movie Predator Badlands taught us anything, it is possible to overcome your programming.
It is. You can be a
smarter,
predator.
more emotionally intelligent predator.
There's the
and he does kind of end up fighting a war. He has a chosen family that he then goes to war for.
And he
at
fights
the end of the movie
war against his biological family.
Correct.
Can I say, that Yautja's dad is a little toxic.
He's a little toxic.
He's a little
trying to behead his child.
Masculinity.
There's some TikTok I have. It's so buried deep in my fave somewhere, but just of a wife going up to a husband with this, so like, would you hit me in the face with a shovel for $1 million? And he goes, I hit you in the face for $1 million. You'd have trouble keeping me off of you.
Oh my
God. It's staged because it's like very like pat, but it is funny. And then she's like, okay, I get it. He's like, $1 million.
How hard would he do it?
Well, I mean, that's what's funny. I mean, all these questions you're saying.
I used to have a stand-up bit about that.
Where you would hit a woman in the face for $1 million.
No, I'm questioning if I should say what my specific was.
I think this episode should include more of you talking about stand-up.
We're continuing on from the no other. Is this thing on? But just that when people say like, would you do this for $1 million? Of course, the answer is always yes. The only part you need to think about is how you would explain to people that you became a millionaire.
Sure. Right.
You take the money.
Came up to me and they.
But then how do you communicate? That was what the bit was.
Right. That sounds like a good bit.
Yeah.
What's the podcast?
This podcast is called Blank Check with Griffin and David. I am Griffin.
I'm David.
Hey, it's Ben Hosley.
Wow, our producer.
And I'm woman.
Okay, well, we need to address if we're going to keep referencing this. So someone on our Reddit, a normal place for normal people.
Yeah, a good place for good people.
Right. Posted a thread. What was the title?
I'm new to
woman? Question mark, question mark.
I'm new to Blank Check. Who is woman?
Look, Marie, you're part of the family.
Yeah. Although I will say, I have had people say to me, like in my life, like, hey, I'm always looking to listen to your episodes, but you're not searchable because we don't put my name in.
I think this is a thing we should. Here's my first bill I'm presenting. I'm putting before the House of Blank Check in 2026. The early Marie appearances we did do with Marie Barty. And then we started being like, you're just the fourth chair.
Right. You can't ever.
We don't need to put you in the title. I think we got to re-add.
Special.
I think we got to add Marie back into the title.
See, but my thing is that it's because, like, even this is a great example of where we're at in the schedule where Marie has done 3 episodes in a row. I find that, so like, having your name 3 times in a row kind of clutters it a little bit.
Maybe I should change the episode descriptions to just include my names.
Yes.
Possibly. But I'm also just like, now there's a fuzzy. Here's my real thing. We got to get Yoshida and Lawson feeling more competitive again. I think they're not clocking the fact that you're running circles around them.
It's the start of a new year.
Yeah.
We're doing all this insidery business. Me.
I've
got some hot takes.
Our new year started with Is This Thing On?
An episode that, look, people got mad at us about that too. Look.
David's holding a flower pot over Griffin's head?
I want to talk about that for 1 second because there were some people, not just on the Reddit, just being like, oh my God, this movie's barely out yet. And they put out the episode. And I'm like, look, man, they schedule the release for mid-December. They don't tell you, when they set those dates, when they're going to expand it because they don't know.
This is a good thing to address.
The studios don't totally know because they don't know what the landscape's going to be. It seems to be expanding, I believe, this weekend.
Yes.
So hopefully more people can see it. We do our best with the schedule.
We do our best. I had to travel for most of December. It was a real kind of like crunch to get all those new release episodes, to see those movies and get them recorded before I flew out. And at the moment, like in December 10th, that we had everything scheduled, it was like, Is This Thing On is going wide.
Yeah, they
nationwide Christmas Day, limited the week before, and No Other Choice is getting a limited release Christmas Day. It makes more sense to put Is This Thing On first. And instead now, like, No Other Choice at the time we were recording this, the same week the episode's coming out, is currently on more screens than Is This Thing On, which they've been going really slow on the rollout with. We try our best, but these distributors fuck with our plans.
I mean, and God bless him. I know it's a weird landscape out there. I have some other hot takes, topical hot takes.
Okay, go for it, David.
Chevy Chase. What's going on with that
Did
guy?
you watch the doc?
No, I've only seen some clips in which he seems, I don't know, like a little acerbic.
I don't care about that man.
Bristling. I do have a little bit of it. I don't know how much I care. I'm fascinated in the train wrecky way. I'm a little less interested in what I understand is the psychology of his background and being raised by somewhat abusive parents and all that.
The doc is less about that.
Yeah, it touches on it. It's not like it's all about that.
I think the doc is worth watching, but I think the interview press tour he's been doing for the doc is meatier than the doc.
Yeah, you described it as like near Quincy Jones level.
Yeah, some of these interviews are amazing.
I only read the Times one.
That's the best one.
That one's pretty wild.
Pretty wild.
I linked to it in Checkbook today.
You know, it is interesting, as many have noted, that it's like everyone who ever worked with this guy, barring the occasional Goldie Hawn, like who he seems to have treated well because like he knew she was a star, right?
I'd say there are like
there's like a handful of people who are like, I always got along with him.
Didn't Beverly D'Angelo like him?
I was going to say, there are like 4 blonde comedians of a similar age range who he made multiple films with, who are like, he's always been a sweetheart to me.
Right.
And his family.
But that's the thing. Everyone else is like working with him was, I'd speak to it about my therapist to this very day, every single day. And then, but you're like, but he has a stable family life. All his kids seem to like him. Weird. That's a little interesting. Yeah. I don't know if there's no answers. I know this.
I have a take from watching the doc.
Sure.
Which is, I think he is just one of the least internally resolved people in the world.
It doesn't seem... He just has put a lot of the bad stuff over there and then some, the family stuff's over there.
To be as blunt as possible, it just feels like he really values his family and is really protective of them and is like so caring and present. And then when he's dealing with his career and his front-facing persona, he both has his guard up where he's like, everyone's trying to fuck with me. I have to defend myself. And isn't this what people want me to do? Be a Chevy Chase style asshole.
Would you say,
like there's a combination of him thinking this is me honoring you by saying something mean to your face, and also that he is like super paranoid.
When you bring up how like intensely protective he feels about his family,
he has no other choice. He'd go to war for his family.
That's what I was going to say.
He's holding the flower pot above Dan Harmon's head.
I'm looking at your newsletter, New Marie. That's where I'm getting some of my hot takes from.
Okay.
Housemaid, haven't seen it. Love that it's making money.
Me too.
Do more of that, please.
It's fun trash.
Bestseller.
I want to give a shout out to my friend Ellen Tamaki, who is in that movie. Shout out to Ellen. I actually think she plays like a bitchy friend.
In that,
have you not seen it yet?
I haven't seen it
yet. Okay, there's a bitchy friend group.
Yes, I think she's part of the other moms.
The Stranger Things finale. No, I haven't checked in with Stranger Things since Barb died. R.I.P. Barb.
People were saying, they were like, the gang is being so defensive. They're glazing Avatar and fighting a war to protect the most popular, highest grossing films of all time and then being dismissive of Stranger Things. I want to be clear. I've just never seen it. It's just a thing I've never engaged with.
I have also never seen it.
I don't take some oppositional stance to Stranger Things.
I'm taking an oppositional stance.
You're allowed to
do
that.
The algo is showing me things, right? And mostly it seems like a lot of people were complaining about the finale who liked the show. I haven't seen the show. She fucking 11, right? That's her number, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Millie Bobby Bon Jovi.
Nowadays it's more like
Millie
21.
Bobby Bon Jovi. I saw a clip on Twitter of her
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Marie, this is what I'm talking about. You're stepping on my hot take.
Go for it,
She's
David.
fighting the big monster.
Uh-huh.
She jumps into it with her psychic powers. Somehow kind of opens its fleshy spider body up. It looks like the spider from Wild Wild West, but flesh.
Major spoilers. I was about to start the show this week.
She lands inside of it. There's a floor. Like, there's not like a sort of organic inside. Like, she's not even on... There's like a sandy floor, Marie.
Inside the tummy?
Yeah. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I saw the clip. I didn't even register.
I texted my brother. I was like, why is there a floor? And he was like, oh, everyone's always nitpicking. And I didn't,
like, you know what, David, to be honest, I've watched that clip several times. I didn't register that
I'm going to show you.
Is that the name of the monster?
No, Vecna's the guy. The Mind Flayer is the big thing.
Okay. All I knew about this fucking show was that there was something with Eggos and she got a nosebleed.
That's season 1 shit, right?
How do we get to a
nosebleed?
big
You guys are
monster?
forgetting.
What?
Barb?
Stranger Things. So there's a floor inside.
You're saying that's quite a strange thing to happen. The show promised you that.
Yes.
Right. Like I should be like, that's strange.
It's what it says on the bottle.
Yeah, it promised you from the start.
It's quite strange.
Why is there why would a beast, why would its stomach be like
perhaps
a
it's almost
sandy floor?
Perhaps it's almost weird.
You're telling me this one episode of television is 2.5 hours long and costs $5 billion? That is quite strange.
I mean, that is the other thing that you're like, this is expensive and it looks like Linkin Park. But I mean, everything has that problem now.
Wait, no, you're so right. They should fucking score that little clip.
I'm sure. I'm sure if you go on.
Crawling in my skin, a floor it will reveal.
Like, look, she jumps in. Okay, they're all like, oh my God. And one of them, by the way, is styled to look exactly like
Why is she wearing a uniform?
Why is she wearing this? Look how fucking terrible this looks. This looks like shit.
I just want to say.
Okay, she's gonna jump. Right, she jumps into this fleshy beast. Look at this beast.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, and it's gonna eat her.
Yeah.
And then she goes inside.
It looks like a portal is opening.
You know, it's like ripping open guts, and then there's just a floor.
That is quite strange.
What the fuck?
It looks like he swallowed a lot of sand.
David, that is empirically one of the stranger things I've seen in a long time.
Had a like decorator like sand it. It's just, I'm just like, if you're doing a D&D influenced fantasy adventure, design your creatures.
We're doing some grab bag right now.
Work.
Because this is our second episode of 2026, but our first record of 2026.
Yeah, so I had to get off.
I want to get a couple grab bag things off the ground. Okay. Ella McKay, pin on Ella McKay.
We're putting a pin in Ella McKay?
They're putting a pin in. I have a thing to say about Ella McKay. In fact, I'm going to take the pin out because I forgot the other thing I was going to say. That was an episode, as mentioned, we were in a crunch to get those December episodes out. We saw that film before it was released, before Ella McKay fever swept over the land. And thus, we were a little ahead of the discourse. We didn't quite know what people were going to land on in their discussion of Ella McKay. And woefully,
you didn't talk about the sex scarf.
The sex scarf was not discussed.
Yeah.
Now, I want to say...
The sex scarf, we're referring to the fact, because, of course, 14 people saw this movie.
All of them listeners of this podcast, including Celine's song.
Yes. Who listens to this podcast?
Well, she said that Ella McKay was her favorite movie of 2020.
She has sex with her loving husband, Sauce Boy. Right, played by
Sauce Magnate.
Yeah, right.
Jack Loudon.
He waters his sauce.
And post-coital, she has a scarf wrapped around her neck in a styling choice that is unaddressed.
Now, in my defense, the reason I did not bring this up is I had put a note in my head to bring something up in the episode that I did forget to bring up. But for me, it is the larger issue above the sex scarf. She sits up in bed. She's got this scarf on, untied, kind of like thrown backwards, right? And there's the classic kind of romantic comedy studio film L-shaped bed sheet.
Right, the lady's got the sheet over the boobs.
Ooh, they fall back in bed.
Yes.
Right, and like the guy, the bed sheets are down to his navel, and the woman, the bed sheets like up to her neck. She sits up. And not just as the shape of the bed sheet remained L-shaped while she's sitting up and he's lying down, but it's like the bed sheet is held across her back, like there's a strap in it. The bed sheet looks like a tube top, and I could not stop marveling at that, which I thought was the most like conservative thing I had ever seen in a post-sex screenshot. I didn't even notice the scarf. The scarf was secondary for me.
Wow. Well, it's a movie that rewards, 30 to 40 viewings, and it's going to need them if it's going to beat Blackhead at the box office.
It's crazy that they were doing a promotion, widely advertised, 2-for-1 tickets for Ella McKay, and the weekend of 2-for-1 tickets, it made like $50,000. I don't want to overstate the importance of this podcast or the reach of this podcast, but the weekend box office numbers came in, and I did say to David, this is the first time in history I really wish there was exit polling to find out what percentage of opening weekend ticket buyers were blankies, because it truly might be 50%.
I went like the Thursday night, like 7:00 Ella McKay opening screening in Manhattan, and there was like a huge crowd of Blank Check fans. And I was in the concessions line with a guy wearing the Desk t-shirt, and I said, cool shirt. And he said, thanks.
That's awesome.
Hey, you're the woman of Blank Check.
Who is the woman?
But
Mayor.
How is Babby formed? Remember that old meme?
Yeah. It just felt like it was such a historically bad opening weekend.
Here's my gag. There's a ticket taker, and then like a tumbleweed comes up, and the ticket taker's like, hey, and the tumbleweed gives a ticket and then blows into the Ella McKay screening. That'd be good, right?
I just feel it's anecdotal.
Screen 18.
But the amount of texts I got from friends and listeners of the show who like saw it within 36 hours of release. And then also our Reddit was exploding. And I was just like, when we cover new release blockbusters, it doesn't feel like there's this much of a, we have to go support this movie immediately thing.
Ella McKay. Well, it's made $4 million domestic, $524 international. Now, it was going to make $400 million in France, but then they canceled that release.
How much did it make in the UAE? I sent you the stat the other day.
What?
Current UAE breakdown, I can't,
$10?
Can't see. Rest of world. No, okay, I don't know. $20,000.
There we go.
$20,000 in the UAE. Pretty good.
I just seeing this news that James Wan gave some interview where he said he wants to take over directing the Avatar franchise.
But I mean, like, that more feels like they said, like, well, you're from the Australian subcontinent. And he's like, I'll take a crack at it, mate.
I'll say this.
I assume that's what he talks like.
It's one of the only people, if James Cameron announced, I'm stepping back, I'm handing
James
it
Wan.
off.
Do they have any relationship?
No, I'm just saying that's one of the only people where I wouldn't immediately go red alert.
Do you know what the connection is?
What's that?
In the canon of Entourage, James Cameron directed the Aquaman film.
This is true. They both know from CGI water.
Yep. That is so true. And of course, we see a clip of Aquaman in Entourage that I think about all the time where Vinny Chase is like in a tux and he like runs down a dock and he's like taking the tux off.
What if I like get really into rewatching Entourage in 2026?
Dude, a couple of people have told me they're doing that, and I'm like, Entourage belongs where it is.
I don't know. Let's bring it back.
Nope.
Belongs where it is on HBO Max, ready for the watching. This was I was gonna say this about the Chevy Chase doc. I read that interview. I was like, gotta watch this fucking thing. Pull up HBO Max. Not on there. And I'm like, isn't it a CNN doc? And CNN owns Warner Media. Apparently I have to sign up for CNN Watch. And then I like sign up and it's like, you don't have the right tier to watch it.
What?
I spent an hour figuring out how to watch this fucking movie.
I think they just don't want anyone to see it.
We live in hell. Now, Nick Weiger of Doughboys, friend of the podcast, just by chance within the last couple hours texted us, watched Is This Thing On and No Other Choice back to back yesterday. And it's kind of amazing. Both technically qualify as, quote, movies, end quote.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, it's just like
that one is, great and the other one isn't. And it's crazy to compare them.
Well, I mean, the one is sort of we're talking about Park Chan Wook's No Other Choice.
These two new release movies we're kicking off the year with to settle the balance before we start our first proper miniseries of 2026.
And it's kind of a movie where like he makes like 6 camera moves. You can't believe how did he even pull that off?
The narrative complexity of it, like the thematic depth of it.
I would say Park Chan Wook is the Michael Jordan of cross dissolve.
And
who's the woman?
This is why it's important to let women speak. And I know people are constantly questioning our choice to do that, but we're going to stand by it. We think it's important.
No other choice.
I just want to let listeners know that I did pitch opening this episode, introducing the show myself because
you wanted to have killed
I killed Ben and Griffin and David off so I could just be the only host of Blank Check.
But would you admit to that?
Right. How would we?
Well, no. Okay, so I was trying to think, like, what would I? All right, so I think David killed Griffin, then went missing.
David went missing.
I went missing. I like buried myself in the sand just to get like a fucking nap.
Then went missing.
With a funnel full of pork.
And then Ben died under mysterious circumstances.
Right, okay. It would be like that kind of like, it's weird. All the people around you keep like having these weird deaths.
But all of the there's like a neat and tidy
that's like the joke about
everything.
Like the guy who's friends with people in Final Destination. Who's like talking. He's like, yeah, I don't know. And then my friend, like a bucket landed in a toaster and it popped a knife into, where it's like, it's weird. This keeps happening to everyone.
You know what's great about Final Destination? That monologue would end with that guy getting killed.
A train runs him over.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Right. to finish introducing this podcast, it's a podcast about filmographies, directors who have massive success early on in their careers and are given a series of blank checks to make whatever crazy passion products they want. And sometimes those checks clear and sometimes they bounce, baby.
Yeah.
3 years ago now, Park Chan Wook won our March Madness competition. I think an incredibly cool fucking win.
It was
one of my favorite living filmmakers and someone I transparently don't think I personally ever would have had the courage to be like, we can put this guy on main feed. I don't
think he is the rare. So often our March Madness winner will be someone we're like, right, that makes sense. That's a big name. That's someone. And he was, he was in our international series. So obviously the choices were a little different, but he wouldn't have been in my top 5 of like, I think this guy's going to win.
He beat out didn't he beat out Guillermo del Toro and Peter Jackson?
He beat Steve McQueen, Peter Jackson, Peter Weir, and Guillermo del Toro, and then Bong Joon-ho, of course, by 1 vote.
By 1 vote, that was really fun.
And we remind you all that every vote matters. But going into that, Bong felt like, well, he'll probably steamroll.
Bong certainly felt like a big one. Again, those legacy guys like PJ or I rewatched another hot take. I rewatched those Lords of the Rings because I do it every Christmas
your holiday
with my wife.
Middle Earth, yeah.
You gotta do that Peter Jackson series sometime.
I agree, my friend.
I know we keep saying like, oh, could he make another movie? I just,
I also rewatched all 3.
Dun, 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 dun,
the
dun,
fucking
dun.
Ents, man. They're talking ass.
Those are my favorite
Yeah, the
guys.
Ents rule.
They are pretty good.
Yeah.
I like how the one guy's on fire and then he's like,
one of the best moments. He takes a little bath. It's just so funny that Saruman is like, I've thought of everything except maybe that if I cut down some trees, the trees will march on my tower.
Can I say it?
Yes.
I think Saruman is funny. I know he's not woke.
Oh, but he pushes boundaries?
Have you seen his Kill Tony set? He was really good. He came out with the floating orb.
Uh-huh. Keep going with this bit.
It had an eye in it, and then it turned into a dick.
2023 was our Park Chan Wook series.
Yeah, so that is, oh my God.
2.5 years ago.
Yeah, and we did him in the summer too. So it was, it's been a little while. But I thought that was a great series, a rewarding series.
Really, really great series. I really enjoyed going through his filmography, along with the podcast, because I'd only seen Old Boy and The Handmaiden.
This is also, knock on wood, a guy who is in the prime of his career, the prime of his life. What is most exciting for me is now, this moment where for the first time we get to do a follow-up new release Park Chan Wook, something we will hopefully get to do many, many more times over the next couple of years.
Certainly seems like the guy's working.
And this movie, I think, fucking rules. Marie, Ben, and I went to a screening about 2 months ago. And then I went a second time over the weekend, right before recording, to refresh myself on it, because it's a naughty film. And I know you just saw it again, Marie, as well.
I went last night.
It jumped way up for me. The first time watching it, like I do with a lot of Park movies, I spend the first half at least going, where is this going? I'm not enjoying this, but I'm struggling to prioritize the threads and understand what this is all building towards. And then it gets to the end and I'm like, holy fucking shit, I see it all now. And then watching it the second time, knowing everything from the beginning, I just thought this thing is a fucking, it's a knockout. It's a knockout, in my opinion. I think Handmaid will probably forever be my favorite film of his, but I think this is quite possibly my number 2 now. And it's in serious contention for my number 1 on the year. And I think it's a masterpiece. What was your second viewing like, Marie?
I too, enjoyed it more on rewatch because I was less concerned with I guess the structure of it and wondering how okay, he killed this person. Now I'm waiting for how is that aspect of the film going to pace itself out?
It does some interesting wrong footing too that the first time can throw you a little off balance.
And I think that he has a sense of humor, but I think some of his films deal with more shocking or upsetting things in them. And so sometimes when I think I didn't know this movie was going to be as goofy.
I'm a cyborg, but that's okay.
It was.
I think is his closest thing to an out-and-out comedy and does seem to be the film that Americans have seen the least of his oeuvre. And I would say after that, this is his second most overtly funny movie. It's like an insane tonal juggling act movie where he's constantly keeping 3 different balls in the air simultaneously and switching which tones he's mashing up.
And you know what's interesting is like the first viewing, I wasn't expecting it to be as silly as it was, and then I think I kind of was stuck on that. The second time, while I do think I laughed more than anyone else in my audience, like I was surprised that the other people watching the movie with me weren't connecting with the comedy as much, but I actually was a lot sadder this viewing because I thought about what was lost by these men not having solidarity with one another, and how not having solidarity with your peers is what has led us to the world that we live in.
I mean, I think like at almost all moments, this film is simultaneously operating as like a social statement tragedy, a like farcical comedy, and like a screw-turning thriller, which is insane. And it's not even doing like tone management, switching off between those. It is like within each scene, you're choosing which one you're almost prioritizing in your read. I also felt like I saw it with like a sold out Saturday night crowd, which was just very exciting to see this movie doing well at the screening I was at. I saw it at the Alamo, downtown Brooklyn. But, you know, I felt like Neon has had this crazy year where it now looks quite possible, if not probable, that they're going to get all 5 Best Foreign Film nominations.
I wouldn't be surprised if this one missed.
I was going to say, this feels like the least secure of them. And also people now think that like, at least 2 or 3 of those will probably get into Best Picture as well.
I think they're going to get 3 Best Picture nominations.
Sentimental Value.
Secret Agent.
It was Just an Accident, Secret Agent.
That's right.
And then people are now assuming Seurat is in 4th place and No Other Choice is in 5th place for international film.
Yeah, it's funny. Seurat is clicking more. I would assume that maybe one of those misses for like Sound of Falling, or there's some sort of like prestige voice of Hind Rajab.
The President's Cake is a movie I liked a lot. Yeah.
Oh, The President's Cake?
Have you seen it?
No.
Tasty.
I know it's from Iraq.
It is.
I don't know anything else about it.
Yeah.
It's not about the Orange Buffoon, is it?
It is not.
Okay. Sure, he likes
It's
cake.
about Saddam Hussein.
What?
The beret-wearing buffoon. No, it's quite a good film. I liked it a lot. Highly encourage people to check it out.
When did you check that one out?
Went to a screening a month or 2 ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you get the neon screeners?
Yeah, I get it every year. I get their beloved box.
Yeah, well, David Ehrlich will not let me borrow the Seurat screener.
Why?
Because
he's cranking it to Seurat every
No,
night?
because he's like, you're not allowed to watch that at home.
Why? What? Because it's like the thing about Seurat, which is another film.
You have to be in a full theater and the noise needs to be really loud. I'm like, bro.
Gatekeeper.
Stop it.
Oh, okay. But so he's saying like, is the music? I mean, I guess so. Because like the idea, people are like, wow, Seurat's really intense and gnarly. And I watch it and I'm like, well, yeah, intense and gnarly things happen in Seurat. But that's a very like sort of absurd.
I don't think it's like, I don't think it's like Avatar, where like if I watch it on my TV.
You can watch it however you like.
Thank you.
I certainly do not agree with it.
Thank you.
If you want my neon box, you can have
that
it.
was kind of the, yes, the lead. I just want to watch Seurat.
The point I'm trying to make here.
Yes.
When this film was announced, I feel like fairly early in 2025, this is happening. Neon is partnered, right?
And we will talk about how, we can briefly talk about how, this is a Park Chan Wook project that has long gestated. And he would keep saying, like, that's one of my future things. I want to do that adaptation of the Axe.
15 years of him saying, this is my potential masterpiece. Like, not Babe Ruth calling a shot, but he's just like, I have located this book that to me feels like the vehicle for me to make my grand statement about everything that animates me.
He has called it a lifetime project. He's said it could be his masterpiece.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So yes, long gestating.
So it was like announced, this is finally fucking happening. Neon is on board. It's going to get a significant American distribution, presumably, because they're co-financing it, not buying it after the fact. And it's going to play festivals this year. And we were just like, holy shit, this fucking thing is happening.
Well, according to Wikipedia, the poor man's J.J. Bursch, this was supposed to be in English.
We'll get into all of that.
Okay.
But that was part
I didn't know that.
The part of the announcement was it's happening and he's decided to make it a Korean film.
Obviously, this film is based on a Donald Westlake novel called The Axe, which is a American.
You say obviously, and I did not know that until last night.
Wow. Well, I know because I've read many a dossier by J.J. Burchard, dossier maker.
Oh, the rich man's Wikipedia?
When we did the Park Chan Wook series in which he talked about this as a potential, there's the book. And you may not also know that, of course, that book had been adapted by Costa
20 years ago.
As Le Coupé.
Which is French for
Coupé.
The Axe.
Yes. Coupé.
And
which,
Costa Gavras' widow and one of his sons are credited as producers on this movie because they still held rights. All three are different. I've not been able to track down the French movie. There seems to be no way to watch this film. Even with VPNs, I could not figure out a way to watch it anywhere. It has only ever been released in an out-of-print Blu-ray Costa Gavras Volume 2 box set.
They don't got this shit on Gaga?
No, it's like insane. I couldn't find it anywhere. If anyone has a link, please let me know. But yes, this has been a long in the works thing. It's announced. Neon's on board. It's happening. It's going to come out in 2025. Then it plays Venice. I feel like got a really strong initial burst of excitement.
It got a very strong reputation.
Even going into the festival, there was this feeling of like Park is kind of one of those filmmakers where you could see it just being his moment. Here's a Parasite kind of crossover moment. Here's a guy who's had films that have like connected here in the States before. And is this the year that an increasingly international academy puts their arms around him and starts taking him seriously as a major filmmaker? And then it like didn't win any of the major awards of Venice. And then it has kind of felt like this movie was on ice between the beginning of September and its release at the very end of December. And from the moment I saw it, I was like, on its face, this feels like the most commercial and accessible of the movies Neon has.
It got 3 Indie Spirit. Oh, no, Gotham nods.
It got 2 Golden Globes for picture and actor.
Yeah, it did pretty. I thought that was
nominations.
Good.
It got Globe noms? Oh, because it's a comedy?
Because it's a comedy.
Right. So there you go.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I just think it's like...
Okay, so
it had a very good opening weekend. Yeah.
Because I think this movie is very long. It takes it's got like such a killer premise, literally.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes a long time to actually start executing, literally, on that premise. And it's got the tonal switching and all that. That I actually think audiences can handle, and other Korean movies have broken through that also have that kind of...
I've seen people compare this to Parasite in terms of subject matter and tone.
It's a little simplistic.
I agree, but they are
filmmakers who are very closely tied, are close friends, have come up together. There is a part of me that imagines, knowing that this is a book he wanted to adapt for so long, that he sees Bong making Parasite and he's like, is it finally time for me to make this? You know, there are similarities in the material. Did it help motivate him to be like, fuck, I got to prioritize this? But they feel like very different films dealing with similar themes.
Yeah, no, sure. But I've had multiple people text me saying like, I liked it. I had a little bit of a hard time cracking into it. Like, whatever. Like, you know, I've definitely gotten some vibes from people of like, yeah. And that is not quite how I felt. I had a great time watching it. I was very engaged. I thought it was funny. It didn't quite stick with me. Where do I have it on my list? You know, I have it in kind of like the 20s. Yeah, like 20s, teens. Kind of close to like Sirat. It is.
My question truly is like, is it
It's more like a 4-star movie to me.
1.
Yeah, no, you have it right at the top there.
Yeah.
And I was like,
my first watch, I had it like 5 or 6, and now it's moved up to like 3, 2, 1.
I was recently at the Criterion office. You were too, but
yeah, let's say we.
Well, no, because you were un poco late. Marie,
what are we talking?
This? Well, I had a meeting at Criterion with Griffin.
We had a meeting at Criterion, and you were waiting for me. That's a better way.
Yeah, well, you were 20 minutes late. But
you were 20 minutes late to your Criterion meeting.
It was 15. It was 15.
You were 15. Wow.
A lot of things were going on. It was in a chaotic week.
And as I walk into the lobby of their building, like not even the offices, Lee Byung-hun is just there, like checking in at the desk. Like signing, you know, like you have to in a Manhattan office building, just like, and your name here and a signature here,
I love
please.
how multiple times in the movie people are like, you know, you're really good looking.
He is just a shiny motherfucker.
also-
You're just like, whoa! Like, he's
Like,
such
it
a
is
movie
surprising considering the character you're
Yes,
playing
and
and
the
how
movie-
good looking you
the
are.
movie kind of frames it as like, is it a little past tense? The
Right.
guy has aged unbelievably. When we did
Obviously, he's all the way back in joint security. He's
but
worked
that's the
with
thing.
Park
When we
Chan
did
Wook.
that episode, it boggled my fucking mind where I was like, this guy's 15 years older than I think he is. Like, how could he have been in this movie this early? And he's just starting to show age in a kind of Paul Rudd way where he still looks great, but you're like, the guy no longer looks 35 forever.
Right, he's
And
a
I think-
mid-50s guy.
He's 55.
Exactly.
I know, man.
I think the
know.
movie weaponizes it so perfectly, and such an incredible choice I think it makes is that they give him like a weirdly just a little bit too unnatural dye job. That it's not
Right,
that they
that
dye
it's a-
out his grays.
Mhm.
It's that he's got that aging guy thing where he starts putting colors in that would never
Uh-huh.
be in hair.
Yeah, his hair is like, there's sometimes when the sun shines on
It's
his
a
hair, it's a
little
little
orange.
light brown.
Yeah.
Right.
And like this guy being like, do I have a mustache or not? Like, you can start to feel the crisis of him being like, are my looks gone in 5 years? Are these the last years of me being able to use that as a tool in my life?
Right.
But he is
He's
an
very
astonishingly
stunning
handsome
person.
man.
And I think it's a really good performance.
I think it's a tremendous performance.
He's got so many good facial reactions during the sequence when he is like, stalking out the Gummo,
Yes.
the first guy he kills, and his wife.
The
with
record collector.
Yeah,
the
with
analog
all of
man.
the snakes and stuff.
Yeah.
And, it's just he's funny.
It's that thing I associate with a lot of Korean cinema, especially where you see these actors in these movies that cross over. And you're like, God, this is such an incredible, this guy's I see this guy. I've seen this guy in 5 movies in my life, but he's always so dramatic
Right.
and interesting.
Of course, he was Storm Shadow.
He was and Lee Byung-hun,
in
of
G.I.
course.
Joe, Rise of Cobra, and G.I. Joe, Retaliation.
And
a
he's in-
performance that swept the nation.
And he's in Terminator Genesis.
He's the T-1000.
Yes, yeah,
and was he also in... No. He was not in Magnificent Seven?
He is.
He is.
Billy
Okay.
Rocks.
He was one of the 7.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've
never seen that.
I know. But
Yeah.
then you look at their, and it's but also they do a bunch of crazy comedies.
Yes.
And in their native country, they're doing all this stuff that would never translate.
He's a bit of a Mads Mikkelsen type where
Yes.
he has been in many major American studio films, basically always hired to do the exact same thing. And then you're like, oh, in his home country, he does everything. In his home country, he is the most versatile, powerful movie star. And we always kind of hire him to be a kind of stealthy. Is he also in Red 2?
Let's see. Yes.
Right.
Red 2.
So he had 5 big.
He did a bunch of
studio
action
films.
movies in
Yeah.
Hollywood. Yes.
But it was always kind of being icy, intense action guy.
definitely often I feel not being handed even much dialogue. Just
Yes.
right, because that's what Storm Shadow is, just a
Slick,
silent assassin.
cool, deadly presence.
Right. Yeah.
Supporting character.
But yeah, I feel like he's such a comedic talent, and this spotlights that in all kinds of fun ways.
Even just the way he plays his tooth problem in this movie, a thing I relate to deeply as someone who spent a year of his life tangled in fucking dental nightmares. And he plays it almost in a pantomime-y way. They establish this visual language of him tapping the side of his mouth to try to relieve the pain at his back jaw. That feels like how you would illustrate in a pamphlet at a dentist's office what tooth pain looks like. But it makes it so easy then to have any scene get heightened by him starting to tap the jaw and be like, oh, right. And that's also part of it.
Well,
this can be a recurring visual.
Speaking of tapping.
Yeah.
They do the tapping as a psychological exercise in the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
Have you done that in therapy?
I've done versions of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marie and I share a therapist.
We
We're
do.
very close.
So I sometimes will do that.
I feel like I don't do the head one.
Oh, I do the head one.
Which they do in this movie.
Yes.
There's a forehead tapping.
Mm-hmm.
That's
He
a
does a lot of
centering.
that. Yes.
Yes.
That you see this movie has shows both alcoholic recovery groups and also unemployment recovery groups
Right.
that are so twinned and almost overlapping and intertwined. But yes, there's a forehead tapping that's a centering, and then there's a jaw tapping that's a sort of redistribution of focus and pain. I don't know how that's showing up on Mike Ben. I apologize. Now that we're all tapping.
Tap, 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 tap.
But I love anytime a movie can do that, where it's just oh, there's now this really clean, sort of physical gesture that can just, as shorthand in a scene, add another layer.
So let's talk about the movie.
Okay. Donald Westlake publishes the Axe in 1997.
Yes. Westlake, gigantic like crime writer, has like hundreds of books. He's the Richard Stark guy. Is that Richard
right?
Stark.
Which is Spencer.
The Parker series.
I'm sorry, not Spencer. Parker. Yes.
But he wrote a bunch of other heroes and all. I'm not a crime fiction guy. It's such a deep world, but I know the name obviously. So the Axe comes out in 1997. Guy at a paper company's laid off, looks for employment for 18 months, and starts to hunt down the people who could take the job that he thinks should be his. So
Donald Westlake wrote Point Blank.
Yes.
Right, because that's also part of the Parker series. The Parker books have been adapted so many times, but half the times they're adapted as Parker books, and half the times they're spun out to be different things. So, like, the Play Dirty, the recent Shane Black Amazon movie, which I regrettably still haven't watched, is a Parker adaptation. But then there was a Taylor Hackford, Jennifer Lopez, fucking Statham Parker.
Yeah, called Parker.
Right. Anyway.
He wrote the screenplay for The Grifters, but did not write a book. Like, because I think that's an original. No, it's a Jim Thompson book that he adapted.
It's published in 97. It's adapted by Costas Gavras. Excuse me. I apologize. About 8 years later. And then Park gets to it like 20 years after that. The decision to keep it in paper.
Yes.
With the passage of time. It is one of those things that like just pays off so greatly that you're like, in 1997, there's not as much of an existential threat to paper. And paper is the perfect thing for me because it's not like, oh, this is a technology that's going to be completely replaced.
Well, is that true though? Because like 97 is like the beginning of like the internet and email.
It is, but we're still very far away. I mean, people are reading books and newspapers and all that stuff.
I just think that like
there's no iPad yet.
Paper will never not exist.
Yeah, we do.
I do feel like it will always exist, but it's the perfect industry because you're like, it's only going to shrink. It will never shrink to zero. It's never going to be nothing, but it's clearly on the downturn.
Have you guys thought about like what your like AI proof job would be?
Wait, what does that mean? Like I'm looking at AI copy and
what job? Because
AI proof.
My answer
like I'm a plumber and no AI can fucking figure that out.
My answer is just keeping this podcast sloppy and unstructured enough that AI can't do it.
Can't do it. Can't get this sloppy.
Because I'll see some of these other AI podcasts and they're good. And people try to do the AI blank check and they're like, these guys are so unprofessional. There's no way to replicate this.
You mean you'll see like an AI replica of a podcast?
People have done AI Joe Rogan with dead people, and it's like 99.9%.
Well, because isn't that because Joe Rogan is mostly just going like, yeah.
Correct.
Like he's not really like.
But here's what like AI can't figure out. Which episode we'll talk about Becker for 20 minutes?
That's true.
I'm trying to make this show AI proof in that way.
That's so true.
Who thought we'd talk about the floor and the belly of the Stranger Things creature?
Why does it have it should be like a stomach.
It's a strange thing.
With like a lake of acid.
But I think they're like trying to switch things up on you.
Yeah.
In a strange way.
That would be pretty normal if it was a stomach lake of acid. Even circling back to the belly, that's another thing that AI wouldn't do. AI would be like, clearly put that tangent to bed. You're actually talking about the movie in question now. No, if AI...
Wait, I might like AI, actually. Maybe we should bring it in. It's going to shut him up.
Ugh, Jesus Christ. Suddenly this show is hosted by AI and David's happy because it has a quote ready to go. And
exactly.
Keeps episodes to 90 minutes.
It obeys the clock. No, I would never. I decry AI.
Look, it's heightened and it's more extreme, but watching Blue Moon, I did have a couple moments where I was like, this is kind of like the Griffin and David dynamic, the working relationship of Lorenz and Hart.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, so you're interesting. Are you...
I'm the little guy. What do you think?
You said Lorenz and Hart, but that's
no, it's
Lorenz
Lorenz.
Hart.
I'm sorry, Lorenz and Rogers.
Rogers and Hart.
Lorenz and Rogers.
I am Richard Rogers, I suppose, in that scenario.
Yes.
In that you're coming up and you're
Rogers.
like, big idea. Okay, what if we? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, maybe
But
we could also not do
The
that.
scene where Andrew Scott very empathetically is like,
fucking incredible.
will you actually commit to a schedule?
I would say
I was like,
yeah, but
got some black check.
you know what, Griffin? I will
blank check.
I will say you're not as toxic.
I said it's a more extreme version. I think that character is both more toxic and less functional than I am.
I don't think you have like an alcohol problem.
No, I don't.
Yeah, no, and you don't you're not relentlessly talking shit to anyone who listens.
No, I also got like 5 inches on Lorenz Hart.
You do.
Yeah.
If nobody else.
Because he was under 5 feet.
Yeah.
Was he really?
Yeah. Like
Great
he was
movie.
like medically
That movie rules.
really short. Like he wasn't just normal
He's
short.
around 5 foot tall, which is sort
Yeah.
of DeVito size.
I could fucking dunk on that guy.
Yeah, you could.
Especially because, and the movie makes this very clear, he had this weird medical condition where he couldn't move in place. He could only take steps if he's being filmed from the shoulders up.
Well, people are like, I can't believe they cast Hawk. He's too tall for it. I'm like, well, there's not a lot of people who are that short. Like, I guess, are we getting DeVito?
Lil Kim.
I mean, it's funny to imagine, but you can't put DeVito at a bar. Because then I'm just thinking of It's Always Sunny.
Oh, that's so true.
And why does the Mind Flayer's stomach look like a floor? Why isn't it? You know what I mean?
Ben, have you seen Blue Moon?
No.
So it's
Ben, I think you'd like it.
You'd love it.
I would be really interested in Nellie's take on it because it's very much about show nerdy people. Yeah. And it takes place at the after party for the opening night of Oklahoma.
Is Ben Hammerstein or is he? No, Ben is Bobby Cannavale.
Sure.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So who's Hammerstein? Hammerstein is whoever I kick your ass out and replace you with someone good. Who we got?
Hammerstein's the Mets podcast. Good luck with that.
God, I don't think you've listened to my Mets podcast, but not a highly structured hour, I would say. I would not call that my Oklahoma.
And I'm Margaret Qualley because I'm the woman.
Yeah, you're a woman. And
woman.
When you show up, everyone's like, how's woman?
How is woman?
Who is woman?
Who is woman?
Just before we move on from this.
Yeah.
From the movie? Yeah.
No, from what would your AI job be? Because I spent a lot of time, my AI proof job. I spent a lot of time thinking about this and I would get into mortuary services.
Interesting.
I actually thought about this during COVID.
Like embalming or just like
6 feet
helping
under?
organize the funeral as an event?
All of it.
So you're going to have a big house.
You'd be pumping like the green juice into the bodies and shit?
I would do the makeup.
Okay.
But like there are always dead people. So this to me feels like that is a job that there will always be room for. You know, with
I hear
humans.
you. I mean, but what if it's just a robot that does it?
You say that
a robot won't, because it's
this
too
is what they always say. Oh, a robot won't do it. Well, maybe it will.
Marie, you say there'll always be death, but I'm friends with a certain tech billionaire who keeps injecting young penis blood into his face and has promised me that he will never die.
And he has so many stats about how many erections he gets.
And
he has all of them to show you.
I'm good friends with that guy.
Oh my God, this episode is already
It's just so funny that you look at pictures of him before he decided to cheat death and it's like, oh, it's a regular person. Then he looks like Boo from Super Mario Bros. He's just the whitest ghost you've ever seen.
That clip of he did some interview recently and the interviewer goes, true or false, you will die someday. And he goes, false.
God, he feels
There's the hesitation of how slowly he tries to be like, no, but he can't say it confidently.
Just for those who may not know who the fuck you're talking about,
he's my
me
good
included.
Friend.
Who is this?
His name's Brian Johnson.
He's some fucking tech monster.
He's a guy, I don't know what. I don't think he's even affiliated with any sort of like noteworthy website.
He started some company that sold for $1 billion that we've never heard of.
So Ben,
that you're
here's a guy looks like a normal sort of tech guy.
He created
to you, right?
like the semicolon on the keyboard.
Okay, well, what if I told you he's done so much cheating death work and spinning his blood and whatever that now he looks like this hottie?
Oh God!
Wow!
He's like, I'm trying to be the first person to not die and not age. And one of his things is he's got like a teen son or like a 20-something son, and he does like daily blood transfusions of the young blood. And he's like, this is one of the ways.
Yeah.
Like he's just got all these weird treatments he does. And he just like the fucking poison tech bro brain people
he's
will
the
be
number
like,
one version.
look at how, can you believe this guy is 55? And I'm like, He doesn't look 25, which is what you're arguing.
He's not
he just looks like a different species.
He's not. So this is what's fucking crazy. He's not even 50. He's 48.
Insane.
And
you know what? That fucking
Lee
Guy Pearce in Prometheus.
Yes.
It's
Lee
crazy.
Byung-hun looks younger
100%
than this fucking dude.
Yeah, and that guy's murdering people.
Yeah.
No other choice.
No other choice.
So it's so Park Chan Wook, the great Korean director Park Chan Wook, as far back as 2009 says, I want to remake the acts, I want to adapt the novel.
The book feels much more kind of like capital S satire, and it's more kind of like American corporate rat race thinking. And also, as you called out, Marie, in the very setup, it's like this guy goes through 18 months of unemployment and is just like, fuck, nothing's working. I guess I go to murder. And it feels a little bit like a sort of Dr. Strangelove-esque heightening of an anxiety, if that makes sense, versus this movie that is sort of about how short a walk it is for someone to start justifying those things.
I feel like this movie also is probably, it is definitely about the crisis of AI a little bit. Like, it's sort of woven in a little thin, but the end of the movie, the robots.
Yes.
Like, I certainly was thinking about it. And the crisis of whatever, cannot speak to Korea's current economic situation, but knowing the economic situation of most countries, I'm guessing it's tenuous. And that there's sort of employment crises.
Yes. There's also like a decline in unions and employee protections.
Right.
And this sort of this attitude, which
Korea's unemployment is like record high.
That is very much, I feel like it's an American thing of the sort of like every man for himself sort of
like
ethos,
capitalism,
which is now spreading outside of America to other countries that used to be more community based.
Yes, I think it's about AI, but I think the ending certainly hammers that home. I think the larger thing it's about, which all these things are tendrils of, is this sort of like point of no return, too far down the road path we have put ourselves on to like self-inflicted redundancy, right?
Sure.
And like being like, are we outmoding ourselves? Are we making ourselves obsolescent as a species? And also, I think this extension of he, for a long time, thought he wanted this to be his like big American debut. I think because he was like, this is a book about America, and specifically like the American idea of capitalism and corporate culture and endless growth and all these sorts of things. He hires Don McKellar, who is Canadian, but is an English speaker, to write it for him. And then he gets offered Stoker. And Stoker is suddenly served on a plate. Here's a Hollywood movie. Here's big stars attached. He goes and does that. And then he goes through years of like, well, should I do this? Should I do that? And he keeps it on the kind of back burner. He and McKellar end up doing the Sympathizer together. There was a story that I feel like got a lot of traction whatever months ago that both of them were like kicked out of the WGA. And if you read just the headline, The Sympathizer was the HBO show that Robert Downey Jr. was on that kind of came and went despite getting some Emmy nominations. The two of them wrote it together every episode, and Park directed the first two, I think. And it was sort of framed as if they had scabbed during the writer's strike. When in fact, and it speaks to the murkiness of all these things, what they had done was, in editing while the strike was happening and production had finished, made certain narrative changes in the edit.
Yeah, no, it felt like a little, the WGA's panel ruled that they had not.
Right.
I mean,
but the headline about the original accusation was louder than when they were sort of absolved of it, if that makes sense. It was all just sort of like weird corporate like stupidness of like the way you're defining writing is
it's
wrong.
All about what constitutes, quote, writing services. DGA does not think what they were doing is writing. The WGA does. WGA trial committee recommended a censure. The board decided to expel them. Unsure why. Everyone was a little baffled.
An incredibly stupid thing I just wanted to acknowledge quickly.
But I mean, maybe.
But as you said, for years, it was always this like, well, does he want to make another Korean film before he makes this big Hollywood film? He wants no other choice to be a Hollywood film. Does he then need stars? Does he then need financing? What scale does he want it to be? And then there was this sudden announcement of like, he's doing it as a Korean film. He's re-teaming with the star of his first movie ever, or I should say his breakthrough film.
Yeah, not his first.
I forgot the two movies that we clumped together.
Yeah.
And it's happening right now, which was just a really fucking exciting announcement. And it does feel like one of these movies where you're like, unlike certain directors' dream projects that they sort of stew on for 20 plus years, and when it ends up coming out, you're like, fuck, is it a little overcooked now? Did they miss the window? You sort of feel like if he had made this any earlier, it wasn't going to be ready. This movie kind of had to meet the moment, which I think is, as we're saying, that there's this notion of, did we finally sell other countries on the success of our societal system, on the functionality and the value of
capitalism? You're talking about capitalism, baby.
Yes. And then
individualism, rugged individualism.
Just in time for like us to start like collapsing.
What?
And everyone else to look around and be like, why did you fucking trick us into this?
We're doing great. Things are good.
I think it's more impactful to not have this movie be set in America and have it set in a place where like the movie starts with him being fired because an American company has bought his South Korean company. And the whole thing is like, so like our whole sense of like tradition and civilization, we basically allowed to be transformed by this Western way of thinking that is now crumbling on us as well. Like we've handed everything over to these sort of self-appointed geniuses in like finance and technology. And now we're all just kind of like placing ourselves on a conveyor belt to be chopped up for bits.
I would like though to I don't want maybe complicate or add more like shading to that thesis. Is I do think that outside of like a nationalistic point of view, I do think there's a lot in the film about like masculinity and the like need to sort of present this image of masculinity that doesn't feel necessarily like American to me. I think it's a universal idea of masculinity that
yes, I think this movie is very much about a crisis of masculinity and how it relates to being employed, you know, and being the breadwinner. All that.
It's the idea of I think a larger emphasis on a sociological level and a psychological level of your identity is your career. And to a secondary degree, your identity is sort of like what you do with the spoils of your career, right? You are what you do, and what you make from that funnels into the second aspect of who you want to be. Whether it's you define yourself by, look, I'm a provider with a family, with a nice house and a beautiful wife, or like the final guy he has to go to, whose wife leaves him, but is like, but I always wanted a house like this.
I thought I'd be having like barbecue
this.
every night.
I want a pit like this. You know, he wants to be on Instagram showing all his hobbies.
Did you have any notes on his
I thought it was interesting.
techniques?
I mean, it speaks to him being a little green, a little novice, and a little bit of a...
New viewers, new listeners should know, not viewers.
He's a barbecue tourist.
That Griffin is apparently a really experienced pit master. I've never actually seen him run a pit.
He's buying for optics rather than for function, I would say, which is you get into a... I mean, look, this is the problem of social media, barbecuing, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's like what's going to look good.
Right.
Versus what's going to taste good, which for me, I just care about the look on my friends' faces when I serve them my delicious Q. That's the only thing I care about. And it's actually the only thing I've ever cared about.
I do.
Which just makes sense because you're always serving us barbecue because you consider us good friends.
Correct.
Well, and we're always going over.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been to Griffin's house so many times.
I love having guests.
Zero. Yeah, zero.
Yeah. Well, because this is a real slow cook.
Yeah. That's why we can't come over.
The brisket I'm working on right now. It's been a couple years.
Also, the apartment is just
5 degrees.
It's just a cloud of smoke.
It's really hard to even see in there.
I will say that this, like South Koreans, they have a barbecue culture of their own, which feels distinct from the American barbecue tradition, which Griffin is an expert in.
Yes. No, I love Korean barbecue, but I would not profess to understanding.
Be an expert,
I'm just an enjoyer. In that case, I'm just a consumer. I agree with you, and I think it's sort of this feeling of like how do you define the value of a man in a society that basically has evolved past the core skills of what a man should be doing? You know, like this this is the general like masculinity in crisis stuff of like men feel like they're pointless now.
Well, yeah, and even the fucking title, No Other Choice, which I made this list of things that I liked in every movie that I saw, which I think
I read it and I thought it was great.
Thanks, David. I think it's a really fun exercise and more people should do it. But I love how many different times different characters utter that they had no other choice in a situation. I think, and I could be wrong here, I think everyone who says it is a man. And
Correct.
There is a difference in like flexibility between the way women are presented and men are presented in the film. Whereas like the wife in this movie is like, well, here, this is the situation that we're in and I'm going to adapt to it. And she is very proactive. She gets a job. She is willing to change immediately in order to, help her family and adapt.
Tell her what's going on because that is more uncomfortable to him than, having a proper conversation. He'd rather murder.
It is one of my
down with his wife
things in this movie, and one that the second viewing really unfolded for me, not falling for its misdirect, right? I feel like roughly the first half of this movie, it's putting you in his headspace of the ultimate stakes here are she will leave him. He's going to get cucked. She's going to fuck someone else. The second he doesn't have a good career, she's going to leave him for
the
someone
nice
better.
House and
which a lot of these movies do operate this way.
And they introduce like a potential love interest for her immediately.
Like he's on the phone with her telling her that he lost the job, and then the dentist walks over to her on the tennis court and here's this handsome guy standing above her, and you feel like the movie is telling you, clock is ticking, like he has to prove his worth. And that ends up to be a complete red herring. Right? Like that is never really at risk in the movie. And in fact, the only thing that even potentially puts it at risk is his lack of transparency with her.
Which starts to just look like he's having an affair or whatever because he's so suspicious. If he had just realized that she's not the volleyball player that she used to be, but she's still a whole person.
If we've learned one lesson
just talk to balls
about marriage from the films of 2025, it is... Guys, stop taking photos of your wife from behind. Take photos of them from the front.
Faces.
No one wants to see their back, despite how impressive the spike is. Show me the face. I tried to keep track on the second viewing of every time No Other Choice is said, and I think I got the complete list in my head. Marie, you were saying right before record, it's not a direct translation.
The title is sort of transliterated literally as "It Cannot Be Helped." Now, I don't understand the nuances of the Korean language well enough to know if that's just like, whatever, how that sounds literally. I don't know.
My analysis, the through line of every time it is said by someone is the lie they are telling themselves. They are convincing themselves. It is why they are going through the trouble of saying it out loud. They have to convince themselves that what they're about to do...
possibly a terrible thing that they're about to do
is in fact
this is the only option.
There's no other choice.
There's no other choice.
Right. In every case, there is many other choices they could make at that moment.
Yes.
The first time it is said, this movie opens, here's this guy,
Mansu,
2 kids, 2 dogs, beautiful house, beautiful wife, works at a paper company.
Yep. Under Mifflin.
They've been bought out by a larger American company.
Stanley shows up. Creed.
Do you think it would have been an easier sell,
Oscar,
if they called this movie The Paper?
Yeah, they should have called it that. The Paper, now only on Peacock. That's the name of the film.
The American bosses want
Stanley,
the senior employees,
Meredith,
to create the list of potential redundancies. Creed, first to go.
Creed's got to go.
Creepy vibes. Meredith, a drunk,
yes,
a partier.
Wow, she's crazy.
Yeah. Angela,
she's
a philanderer,
a tight ass.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
He has this big moral grandstanding speech to his underlings. I refuse to do that. That's not the character of this place. It's not the history of this place. I'm going to go to that these fat American cats, and I'm going to tell them what for, and I'm going to explain to them why they cannot do this, and I refuse to do this. He gets half a sentence out before the American guy goes, sorry, there's no other choice. Closes the door on him, and then he finds out that he is fired. Right? So it's like this big stance he was taking of, I'm not going to be this kind of guy, is irrelevant. He doesn't even get the chance to try to prove what he thinks he needs to prove to himself. Then he's out the door. The second time No Other Choice is said, is Bumo, the first guy who ends up dying.
Mr. Analog.
Yes. Who says to his wife, why can't you get a job in another field? And he says something like, I'm a paper man. There's no other choice. I cannot do anything but work in paper.
Fulfills him.
It is my life. It is intertwined with my sense of self so inexplicably. The third time he says it is when we're obviously going deep into spoiler territory here, about to kill the shoe salesman, and he's doing the tap-in on his forehead. It's the first time that he's really going to just unequivocally murder somebody, and he's telling himself it's what he has to do. And then I think the fourth time is the guy with the house at the end is talking about stealing a competitor's product and their process in order to survive.
And I think we should just spell out, but why is there no other choice? He's like whittling down the candidates that he has deemed who will be better suited for the one position.
The premise of this
one open job.
No, the job isn't even open.
Right,
he needs to kill.
Yes, he needs to kill everyone ahead of him in terms of like kind of a job score.
And then kill the guy who's currently holding that job.
Well, no. So it's like, let's say I want David Sims's job at The Atlantic. So I can kill David Sims and then I'll be hired, right? Wrong. Because I'm going to be competing with thousands of other people for that job.
Well, there's also another problem, which is David has signed up for Project Phoenix, an experimental initiative in which his consciousness is being backed up onto a Na'vi avatar.
That's right.
And if you murder him, a taller David Sims will arrive.
It's a potent mix. He says it in the first Avatar.
Yeah, he doesn't say it in the second one.
You said he says it. It's the first.
I think he says it in the second.
I think he repeats it in the second, possibly as a callback. But he says it the first time. I just rewatched Avatar 1 because, I like to have a good time and party.
Yeah.
And because I'm a cool fucking guy.
I'm imagining David with a party hat and a noisemaker watching Avatar 1
fucking
alone.
having a great time over here.
His wife comes out.
What are you doing? Watching fucking Avatar, having a good time. Party animal. And
he's throwing confetti into the air.
I'm a cool dude.
Happy New Year.
And it's when Jake is saying to Quaritch, like,
recon.
So this is the situation. I've gotten kind of taken in by and I'm going to rough try. And he's like, oh, a Marine in an Avatar body, kind of a potent mix.
Right. Potent mix.
He does say it in the second one as well. I'm going to figure out when it is. He loses this job. And there's this immediate clocking. And this is one of those things that makes it a little bit hard to track the movie on the first go. It introduces like 15 primary characters in the first 15 or 20 minutes of the movie, the vast majority of whom our main character hasn't actually met yet.
And might not really matter for a while.
Some of them you don't circle back to until 90 minutes later.
Right.
So they're front-loading so much kind of like landscape information because this guy basically immediately surveys the sort of paper industry landscape in Korea. And there's this feeling of like, all these companies are getting bought by larger, older American companies or Japanese companies. They're being consolidated, they're being folded, they're being merged. Like the number of jobs is just constantly being cut in half. And all these companies are using technology to also then further eliminate jobs. And so he's like trying to do the math on basically, how do I get on one of the last lifeboats off the Titanic? It is part of, for me, the like supreme kind of satirical greatness of this movie is that like all of his machinations are for something that might barely last. What are you laughing at, Marie? Did you just send us something? Marie just sent us a tweet. I'm sorry, a zeet. Okay. This is from the Avatar Wikia, which I've been spending a lot of time on. I find it really funny that because of Avatar The Last Airbender, the domain name is like James Cameron's Avatar, thewikia.com. Varong aliases: Cupcake, Lady, Baby, Sugar, Witch. Cupcake, Lady, Baby, and Sugar are all credited to Recom Quaritch.
Mm-hmm.
Witch credited to Nate Thierry.
And Bitch
credited to Kitty.
Yeah, but I just feel like it's kind of how I feel about myself,
I'm a witch.
I'm a cupcake. I'm a lady. I'm a sugar.
Baby, I'm a sugar. I'm a witch.
I think there's this sort of satirical thing at the heart of No Other Choice of him thinking like, right, if I can just kill everyone off, and kill this guy, I'll get his job. And it's like that. There won't be any jobs. Like you're saying, like the jobs are just all going to go.
It's an inevitability.
You can't keep killing people. They'll just keep getting rid of jobs. They don't want to hire you or employ anyone.
But symptomatic.
They're sick of humans.
Symptomatic of a larger issue that's just like this guy goes like, if the 20 years I've spent in this one industry
doesn't matter, right?
Then who am I?
And
my entire sense of self is gone, and then I assume my wife's gonna fuck a younger guy,
and I'm like,
I'm gonna lose my house.
I don't know. Look in the mirror because I see a handsome guy, Lee Byung-hun. But yes, no, of course, it's his sense of self's been devastated. But like the Donald Westlake thing strikes me as more like it's a corporate satire, dog eat dog world. You do have to, and I feel like Park Chan Wook's arriving at this like, yeah, that's not really going to work for him. And all these guys want is to have absurd houses filled with champagne and cigars and whiskey and fucking hot tubs and like and just to live the most absurd like kind of excess. And look, that's what I want. That's why I do this shitty podcast. To collect your money so I can build my mansion.
Excuse me.
What?
The podcast,
Ben, cut all that out.
The podcast is shitty only so that AI can't replicate it.
We're outfoxing it.
Anything you think is bad about this show is just future-proof.
That's what Donald Trump does as our president. He's so shitty, and all his decisions make no sense, so no one can think what he's doing next.
He knows that the Democratic Party is going to run a language learning model against him.
Anyway,
2026 is going good.
Great.
Got Mayor Zoran in there.
Yes. Here's a detail.
That's good.
It's great. He's gonna do our League of Their Own episode. Here's the other thing.
He's more of a soccer guy.
Another thing I was tracking on the second watch.
Yes, Griffin.
The ways pigs are invoked and when, right? And this association with them being like the lowest class, the thing you want to avoid being, when it's used as a derogatory term, when it's spoken of people's past, of needing to work with pigs, and his father, who is spoken of sparingly. There's sort of the one big scene where he talks to his son later, who was a pig farmer. And this sense of like, I was born into a class that I have spent my entire life trying to pull myself out of, right? And he has built this big house that is very nice and modern.
Well, he didn't build, it was his family's home.
But they talk about
but
how
he like added the greenhouse and fixed it up. And yes.
Right, because there's the moment he loses the job. Immediately the wife is like, let's just do fucking hard math. What has to go? I don't take dance lessons anymore. I don't take tennis lessons anymore.
And we're getting rid of Netflix.
We're getting rid of Netflix. We're scaling back all this shit, right? They have this.
How expensive is Korean Netflix, by the way? There's fucking
$5,000 a month. And that's with ads.
That's a line item for them.
The streaming services are too expensive.
They're getting pricey. Well, this is how they get you. They make you sign up, and then they're like, "Hey, well, it's going up," and you're like, "Oh, how much?" And they're like, and you're like, "What?" And they're like, $20. Is that $28? Yeah, it's technically $28.
I should like. I need. This is my New Year's resolution.
Okay.
I gotta unsubscribe.
Wow.
From a lot of these things.
Marie, do not promote unsubscribing on the podcast.
I'm sorry. I'm going to consciously uncouple.
Okay.
From I think Paramount Plus. It's like about time.
You're gonna hang the pickaxe up. You're gonna stop scaling the mountain.
Did you reach the summit? Picard's up there and SpongeBob.
Did you freeze to death? They showed you Picard, SpongeBob, and Cartman standing next to each other. What more do you need? And also,
Cartman,
maybe like a 5th tier Dutton.
What are you doing here, Cartman? I don't know. That's what Picard would say, right?
And John Taffer's like, I'm shutting this up. No rescue needed.
You know what I subscribe to is MGM Plus.
David?
Deep movie library.
I'm going to dial 911.
I have.
That is.
Hey man, I had to get through winter break somehow.
That is a red alert situation.
They got a great movie library.
I have so many like weird, fucked up like Amazon Prime add-ons that like I used once.
Where it's like
Hello,
Governor,
Broadway World. I have like 4 different like BritBox services.
Hello, Governor Plus.
I have something called like
Hello, Governor, ad free.
It's either called like Bad Moon or Blue Moon or something that's like I signed up to watch some like Jean Roland exploitation movies.
Blue Moon is Loren's heart streaming service where he just bitches to you about all the other streaming services.
He just appears at a bar smoking. And he's like, and another thing.
Netflix is such a slut.
No, it is funny when you're like, oh, I wonder, can I watch like, the Chamber of Flying Death, and you look it up, it's like, yeah, it's actually available on like shit field.
Yeah.
Like,
So
that was my fucking Chevy Chase dog thing. I'm like, why am I not signed up for anything that will let me watch?
So I just got to get rid of all this shit. I'm keeping Shudder on Amazon.
That's a really good service.
Shudder is a good service.
But I watched Love Story, which, Griff, we've talked about this. Because Love Story is one of the most financially successful films ever made, right? Big phenomenon, early 70s, weepy. And we had a brief where we were like, is Love Story good? Like, I've never seen it. It was a hit. Is it good? It's on MGM Plus. I was like, I'm going to fucking watch it. 2 stars. Sucked. But, at least I've knocked that one off. You happy for me?
I'm thrilled.
I watched Inherit the Wind. I'd never seen it.
This is what you did over.
No, because it's like one of those kind of homeworky movies that like if you don't see it in school.
I was going to say, I think if you had stayed in school in the United States of America, you would have seen it.
I would have seen Spencer Tracy's sweaty shoulders. He's got some
what's
sweat.
His name? J. Fred Muggs, the monkey?
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite actors.
He's on the
I have to, give you a little bit of shit. You watched Love Story and Inherit the Wind instead of Saving Silverman this
David,
break?
What the fuck?
Right. Why would I want to watch those?
You had one job.
Oscar-nominated films.
You said on whatever episode we talked about Saving Silverman that you would fucking watch Saving Silverman over break. I'll do it right now. I'll watch it right now.
In
I'll
the time since we said that, I watched Saving Silverman again.
Yeah. And again, you're calling the police on me.
I called the police and they were like, here is a medal.
Sounds like the kind of thing the police would do.
Here's a key to the city. Eric Adams shook my hand.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Look at that there. Look at that there.
Time is flying.
No other choice, Griff.
No other choice. His wife says we need to cut the budget down. We need to cut down the streaming services. Their youngest daughter.
We need to sell the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, we can't.
Yes.
There are too many mouths to feed. We got to get rid of the dogs. The grandparents take the dogs. It is sort of this,
even though they're like allergic.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's this kind of emotional core to the movie of like, if we get the dogs back, it will feel like everything is right in the world again. The second we can afford dog food. And there's this thing where the kids' names are Re1 and G1.
Re1 and C1. And then the dogs are Re2 and C2.
Yes. So they named the dogs like nicknaming versions of the children. And the wife is like brass tacks. We got to just like focus down. But the big thing is their daughter is seemingly a cello prodigy. The daughter who barely communicates with them, who seems sort of spectrum-y.
She's like neurodivergent in some way. And it's like the cello is the only way she seems to be able to express herself.
She rarely talks. She draws these complicated multicolored symbols. And they'll see her practice like her fingering of the instrument on like a table, on other objects, but she never plays in front of them. She has this expensive tutor. And the tutor is like, your daughter is too good for me.
Right. You need to get like an even more expensive tutor or whatever.
Right. And basically says to them, like, you don't understand. She is like superhuman. She is once in a generational talent. You need to up her training. She is someone who will play in like the National Symphony or whatever. And they're like, we're going off of this woman. Is this like a con? She says that the cello she's playing isn't expensive enough. She needs to get a better cello to practice on.
Musical instruments are so fucking expensive.
We don't even hear it. And there was this notion of like, here's this guy who prides himself on how much he was able to like climb the ladder of class from his father. And yet they look at their daughter as like, she's the only way we continue to move up. We have to bank everything on her. And so they cut all of this down, right? And there's a scene where a couple comes to go look at their house. Because they're maybe going to sell the house.
Uniquely designed. It's like a very special seeming house.
I love the house.
It's so like modern, but still like tasteful, not gaudy. I loved it.
The real estate agent says like, isn't this place impressive? And it used to be such a dump, what they've done with it. And they're really talking about how this is his family home, but it used to be run down. It felt haunted.
It was a pig
janky.
farm. His dad committed suicide there.
But then they also say that he had this larger pig farm that they sold because he didn't want to be seen as a pig farmer after his father died. And they now live on a house that is partially the land that he had the pig farm for. And the real estate agent or
I thought it was the pigs all got sick and then the father killed himself.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
There was some sort of pig blight.
So it wasn't like the pig. It wasn't like the pig farm was at the top of its game.
I'm saying that after the father died.
Yeah.
There's this throwaway line where they're like, if he had held onto the land that the pig farm was in, he'd be so rich right now. Which I thought was really interesting.
Right.
That there was,
if he had only just, given himself over to, no, I get that.
Right. But you get the sense that it's like, I don't want to be fucking associated with pigs. That was my father. That is what I'm working past. And they're like, if you just still were renting that land out to other people, you'd be set for generations. And this guy makes a pass at the wife, and there's this sort of like, we're not fucking renting the house. So now we're like doubled down on, we're not selling it, we're not renting it, we're staying here, we're getting the dogs back, she's getting the better cello teacher. This lifestyle creep has affected them where they now like cannot figure out how to scale down their lives. And all the families you're seeing here are like absolutely driven insane by keeping up with the Joneses to some degree, right?
Right. They're all competing with each other in like an invisible competition.
You cannot move down the ladder.
Right,
you fight so hard to get where you are, you cannot move down the ladder.
And I do think Korean society is very stratified.
Yes.
Even more so than some places or whatever. And a lot of their movies seem to be about, class.
He gets the hot tip of the company that he should be working at. He goes and gets on his knees and begs outside the bathroom these higher ups.
Yeah.
Who are just like, this is embarrassing.
It's moon paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the rival.
And they've cracked the Japanese market.
That's the big thing.
Right. And this is when he this is where he has the kind of spontaneous after the humiliation, like, should I throw the fucking potted plant on this guy? Right? Like where,
the moon paper man.
I think I love about this
where
movie.
I thought the movie was like, okay, we're going into like murder satire
Same.
mode.
I'm like, he's just going to keep killing people one by one.
The movie doesn't do the thing of having the scene where he sort of like out loud explains his thinking of how he gets from point A to point B of justifying murder, right? It's sort of like he has this embarrassment. The guy tells him to go to a bar. He's drinking apple juice because he's a recovering alcoholic. He's like looking up these guys on social media. And then he's just so angry at this guy that he like impulsively gets up on a rooftop, is ready to throw a potted plant at him. And then he like takes a step back and starts to formulate like, wait a second.
Well, doesn't he get the idea from his wife?
His wife calls him.
No, they're like they're cuddling on the couch together. They're looking at the guy's social media. He's showing her the guy's Instagram. Yes. And then she's like, oh man, if only, he could get struck by lightning, you could have his job.
Sure,
and then the look flashes across his face.
But there is
like,
kind of
fuck.
the chancy, like he has the potted plant of like, could I just do this? Like,
there's also the moment when he's on the rooftop where he's looking at the shut down paper factory. Like he starts to formulate like, what if I create a fake job? Identify who the other people are who would be in the running for any job like this that would open up. So that if the job opens up, I have eliminated all the competition. And then I need to figure out how to get that job to open up. And so he starts this triangulation of like, he calls these guys up, he gets a burner phone, he gets resumes, he buys a model gun because he has his father's like framed, encased gun as a military veteran. He swaps it out so he has a real gun that no one's ever going to notice. He puts a plastic gun in the case and he identifies all the core skills of the other guys. He's basically like, there are 5 other guys at my level with my history who would be competitive for this type of...
They're all winners of Pulp Man of the Year.
Yes. And then he like kind of does the math, circling like, what do they have over me? I may be third in line. How do I get here?
The thing that I love is that it's not just paper.
Mm-hmm.
They all are in charge of specialty paper. So they are even super specialized within an already specialized like industry.
You will have these moments where guys will like grab a piece of paper and go like, oh, fuck, that's good. Like they're like impressed with the recipe.
I do, right. Yeah, with the kind of...
There's that moment where
tone,
Gummo and his wife are like reminiscing about when they first met. Not Gummo, Bummo, whatever. Gubummo, where he's like, she remembers that he touched her lips and were like, they're as soft as this brand of paper. And then he was like, you said that you said the wrong name. It's actually this brand. And then it cuts to Lee Byung-hun, like watching them, eavesdropping on this conversation, touching his own lips, thinking about the paper and being like, yeah, that paper is really fucking soft.
He feels like a guy who fell into this and wanted to define himself by understanding the field as thoroughly as he could, right? In the industry and the product, versus like Gu Bummo is like a fetishist and like a zealot, and it like speaks to
it speaks to his record, all his
Exactly.
collecting, all his like fetishization
he gets this
of
resume
physical objects.
that's like, you'll understand, it's like a way of life for me. You know, like I consider the materials of everything in my home. I only listen to analog
analog only.
Right. And here is this guy who's got this wife who he just like will not acknowledge, that he is so caught up.
Who's hot.
Yes.
And he ain't hot.
No.
Sorry.
And I like that the flashback to their meet cute is like, this guy is still kind of not focused, but it's charming enough when he's young. And then when he's older and he's gone to seed.
I mean, it's our fucking future.
And he's drinking. Yes.
I mean, it's me. It ain't going to be cute age 55 where I'm like, this Radiant set came in of this like fucking 70s Hong Kong movie. And I was like, and I'm like putting it on a giant
That's
pile.
what the group text is for.
Yeah, I know.
It's a safe space.
Yeah.
But yes, she's just like, fuck me. And he's like, paper is the only thing that has ever mattered.
Well, she's also like, why don't you're passionate about other things besides paper? Why don't you open a cafe like a music themed cafe? Because that's something that would do well. Like my father would invest in it. Like this is a great option.
And once again, it is the first time no other choice is said in the
he's like,
movie.
I have no other choice.
I am a paper man.
I am a paper man. I can't just pivot like that. You know, and then I love when Lee Byung-hun actually goes to kill him.
Well, he observes them having like a picnic where she's coming on to him so hard and trying to go down memory lane, and he just is like not with it.
And only wants to eat his chicken.
They're eating fried chicken, and then Lee Byung-hun gets bit by a snake, and she has to come like rescue him and give him the wrong advice. And you're like, oh, so this is the tone of this movie. It's going to be a thing in which like it's really hard to kill him. He keeps fucking it up.
Right. That we're now in like full slapstick mode.
Right.
That picnic looked really uncomfortable, even before the snake.
I liked their box though, their little picnic box, and
but they're in like the Blair Witch Woods.
Yeah, it just feels like they picked a kind of weird location.
Yes,
have you?
It's like a lot of sticks.
I'm assuming no one here has ever been bitten by a snake.
No. Oh no. I thought you were gonna ask if I've been to Korea. I'd love to go. I have not been. I don't like snakes. No. I gotta say, as a Northeastern person, Northeast America, like where they're less of a thing. And, there's other parts of the world and country where they're just like, oh, yeah, there's snakes. I would be like, no, that's not allowed.
Yeah.
Just like poison ropes that just slither around and they can be fast.
That slither around. It's a pretty good phrase.
I used to be very anti-snake. And then I saw Zootopia 2.
Of course. You met Gary DeSnake.
I met Gary DeSnake. And now I feel like I was, my former prejudices have washed away.
I was very charmed by Gary.
I love
and his
grandma, like, Agnes DeSnake.
We need to start asking more questions about the weather walls.
Yeah. What's up with those? Who built them? The Lynx, I assume.
Well, it's debatable. I like that. Well, no, I won't say.
No, what? Come on.
It's just very funny to me that like David Strathairn is one of the main villains in that movie.
He's good at it.
He's very good at it, but it's such an un-Disney voice to have Strathairn doing like a very like sort of
unctuous,
measured.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was him until the final credits.
I spent the whole movie trying to figure out who it was.
I was like, I don't recognize this.
I with Zootopia 2 and with the original, but going into 2, I was like, I know there will be a charming end credit sequence set to a Bumpin' Shakira song in which I will see all of the voices labeled clearly while they all do a dance.
Character does a dance next to their name.
The villains will be imprisoned watching the concert on TV and I'll see their names too.
And they like point to the credit.
And I was satisfied. Yeah. Got exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the hell out of Zootopia 2.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, Griff was a little more measured.
I liked it. I thought it was fun.
Where do we leave off?
So he has this like total fumble, right? And you're like, okay, this is going to be in the line of the kind of classic thing we often talk about, that like
the snake bite and not being able to.
We've talked about on this show, because a lot of times when big directors make these end up being their greatest follies, the sort of like pitch black mainstream murder comedy that tends to turn audiences way off. And it feels like this is what this is going to be down to when he goes back to actually do the thing in a scene that is like such a pure distillation of like Park Chan Wook is the only filmmaker on the planet who would conceive of the scene this way. He goes back in a full suit, wearing 4 gloves over the gun, being wrapped in saran wrap.
Not just gloves, they're like oven mitts.
But like an increasing size.
Yes.
To go in and murder this guy who's in his like record room, like fucking drunk off his ass, blasting Korean pop music. His wife is cheating on him with a guy who's got a tarantula tattoo. What's the tattoo?
I don't remember.
But this is the whole thing he's trying to balance is like, he tries to stop. He goes to try to kill the guy. He walks in on the wife.
He realizes
fucking the young dude.
Right,
and
then he's sort of like, I need to block him from discovering them. But then he's
like,
up.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
He calls and says, there's a job interview. Can you come meet me? Because he sees him going home.
This is what I'm talking about with this movie. It's a little exhausting. This whole sequence is a good example.
And he's like, well, then I got to go change. Then he walks in, sees the wife. The wife doesn't know that he's seen him. He's in a despondent state. And then he's like, I guess I got to go kill him now. So he goes in while he's in this stupor. And he's so drunk and doesn't understand what's going on. And thinks that he's the guy his wife is fucking. They're yelling at each other over the record player at full volume. So the scene is all happening with like subtitles, but I have to imagine even in the Korean version, it's subtitled because you wouldn't be able to make out what they're saying.
So just there were like 2 little, I guess you could call them Easter eggs that I pulled out from my second viewing. The first is that I listened to the soundtrack on my walk over here. That song that's playing is called Red Pepper Dragonfly. But it's notable because the fake company that he invents to get all of these applications is called Red Pepper Paper.
Okay. Yeah, because of the
potted plant. Yes. So I thought that was cute. My other Easter egg is that in the scene where they go to the dance party where they all have costumes, there's a couple that's dressed as like an NFL player and a cheerleader. And the name on the back of the NFL player's jersey is Boucher. And it's the colors of the team in The Waterboy.
It's a Bobby Boucher cosplay?
That is my reading of the fact. It's an orange, blue, and white football jersey.
Does Park love Adam Sandler?
Well, I was about to say, is Waterboy like a really, big movie in Korea somehow?
It just introduced a lot of questions.
I will say someone else on Threads noted a blink and you'll miss it reference to The Waterboy.
Okay.
So maybe this is true. Maybe we're all, crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. He has this confrontation with the guy where the guy thinks this is the guy cucking him. Then we
gotta also shout out though in the sequence where he has, I don't know, 7 different gloves on.
I think it's at least 4.
It's so funny
to reveal the gun.
Yeah.
Because the guy at first is like, why are you pointing an oven mitt at me?
Yeah.
And then his wife comes in.
Do you like to bake? You like to bake, motherfucker?
His wife comes in and thinks that he's just like a home invader, takes the paper trophy that
Pulp Man of the Year trophy.
Won.
Yeah.
Yes. And is ready to knock him over the head and then recognizes that he's the snake bite guy. And like all 3 of them are yelling at each other and no one understands what's going on. It's like such a perfect, and the music doesn't stop. And then they all start inflicting violence on each other. He like shoots him by mistake because the wife hits him with the trophy, which like causes him to like pull the trigger, but it's not a lethal shot.
No, the wife kills him, right?
Yes, and then she takes the gun away and then shoots him out of like anger and says something to the effect of like, I wasn't angry at you. I don't hate you because you lost your job. I hate you because you gave up trying, or something like that. This sort of core thing of like, Lee Byung-hun doesn't understand what the actual threat to his existence is, which is like absolutely unraveling, like this guy, right? That all 3 guys he murders are kind of like Ghosts of Christmas Future versions of best and worst case scenarios of how he can handle his current situation. But here you have this first death down that he's not totally responsible for. There's a lot of misunderstanding, and because the fact that she's the one who delivers the lethal gunshots, it's like she's now covering up the crime for him in a way that helps him. So he's kind of gotten away from this one scot-free, which means the second killing is super surprising because it is just like incredibly cruel. and vicious. What were you going to say, David?
No, I was the second killing. That's exactly what I was. I think I had that sort of, that after the first murder, that one, like, okay, am I watching a very high slapsticky black comedy where every death will be this convoluted,
this kind
where
of
there will be this emotional Rube Goldberg-y, well, he keeps not being short, but then like a fucking bunch of Final Destination shit happens too. And yes, and then I feel like Park is like, no, that's not quite it, because the next death is the opposite. It's sort of like you have to look a man in the face and shoot him.
Well, I actually, when I said that my second time watching the movie, I felt sadder. I did like, he really hammers home the like personal connection with the second guy. And that's pretty devastating when he ends up killing him. But I did like, for every other paper man in this movie, you do recognize that these guys all would probably be friends and would be stronger together if they weren't competing with each other.
The shoe salesman's
maybe they
the most
start their
version.
own business.
Exactly. Yes. But instead of like, teaming up together, they're competing with each other in a way that is, ultimately super destructive.
Yes. Well, so he goes to this guy who has taken a job at a shoe store.
Right. And he's done with, or he's at least trying to move on or whatever.
He has taken pride in a shoe salesman job that he is trying to do to the best of his abilities. You feel this guy being a little bit desperate, and there's a sort of dangled out that he's gotten the call about this fake job that Lee Byung-hun has set up. And he says something to the extent of like, I'm unemployed, but I'm looking to get back into the paper industry. That to a certain extent, even though he has regular employment now, it doesn't feel like he has a career. He won't feel like he's actually employed again until he's got a paper job. But this guy is doing the hard work of like, you know what? I just have to go out and get a job and support my family. And he starts talking. His daughter comes to the store to borrow money. He talks about what it's like to raise a young daughter. You're like, this guy is fucking locked in as a parent. He seems locked in his marriage. Like his life is not easy, but he is showing up and doing what he can one day at a time. And Lee Byung-hun has this moment where he starts talking to him like a therapist. He is sensing that this guy has a very similar setup to him, starts talking about his difficulty with his daughter, how she doesn't talk, how expensive the cello lessons are. And you're like, this guy, he should fucking hold close as his like tightest ally in the world. And in that moment, it's like, I want the last moments of empathy from this guy before I decide to kill him. Like, it doesn't change his path, which is so fucking upsetting.
Yes, this is the sort of dark turn point of the movie. We're out of silliness.
But it is also another, like, when the gun does go off, it is not as, like, intentional.
No, in the exact moment, but he's like...
No, he's like resolved to do it. But again,
set up a trap at the side of the road.
He's not like cold-bloodedly shooting him in the face.
No, and he's like panicking and he's like dry heaving on the side of the road and he's like tapping the forehead. That's when he's saying no other choice to, I got to go through with this. Of like, this is the moment I become like unequivocally a murderer. What's been going on in the side plot here, of course, is that like the wife gets, you think, kind of propositioned by this hot young dentist who's clearly trying to like make a play for her. But in fact, she's just getting a fucking dental assistant job. One of the women from her like sort of class of mothers and wives comes as a patient and is sort of like looking down on her as like, I didn't know you were a nurse now, you know, and she's just fucking taking it. Like, she's just like, this is what I gotta do.
Right. She is not having the male crisis.
She's like, they were in the same dance class together. Are you going to come to the show? I can't because I can't afford the classes anymore. You should still come to the show. It's totally fine. And everyone thinks this dentist is so fucking hot. And you're like, well, clearly there's this looming threat of the dentist is going to fuck the wife. And it amounts to, after he kills this guy on the side of the road, he like pulls over to a phone booth, calls the kids at home, and they're like, Mom's going to be so fucking angry at you. And he's like, why? Realizes the dance show is that night. So he like rushes home, puts on the costume, which looks like a naval captain, like an American or British naval captain.
It's giving Horatio Hornblower, in my opinion.
Goes to this dance show.
Our favorite guy.
Sees her dressed as a Native American woman dancing with the dentist who's dressed as a Native American man and like spirals out. and goes home. She gets home. He's like ransacked her closet. He's taken all her bras and panties out. He's like, you're wearing the good panties. That means that you're fucking him.
You love to fucking cars.
Let me smell them.
Yeah.
She's like, are you drinking again? You start kind of unraveling how much work this guy has done. That his drinking problem used to be major. That his emotional mood swings used to be like dangerous.
He was abusive to his stepson.
That his wife was a single mother. He meets her. He takes the son on as his own. The son was young enough that he doesn't even know that it's not his biological father. They have this conversation of, didn't we say that we'd always tell him when he's 16? And he's like, he thinks I'm his dad. I'm his dad. I've been here the whole time. What reason is there to even change his reality? The wife brings up in this scene that he, in his drunken days, beat the son in a sort of show of favoritism towards his biological daughter in like super unprocessed, like incredibly terrifying emotional distortion. And like they're suddenly hashing everything out. And she like comes clean with him basically of like, I'm not fucking anyone else. You're clearly in crisis. Something's fucking going on. Let me know so I can help you. Like it is, why are you pushing me away? I'm ready to serve alongside you in the war our family's engaged in. You just got to tell me what to do.
He's such a fool. I mean, he thinks he should fucking murder people.
But from that moment
just,
on, they're totally aligned, except he's always giving her like 85 to 90%. He's trying, it feels like, to give her the plausible deniability of the worst stuff.
Yeah, sure.
While also
there's
like
some logic too.
Towing just up to the line of like, you got to talk to this person. You got to distract from this. You find out that their teenage son throughout this has been like running a scam with his friend whose dad owns an electronics store.
It's the same guy who's going to buy their home.
Who makes the pass at the wife. And they've been stealing iPhones. They get caught by the cops. And they're like, we're fucking ruined if our son is sent to jail, if we're like tarred and feathered in our community from this.
But also the cops show up the day after.
Correct.
He has buried the second person he has murdered.
After bonsaiing him instead of, which I thought was so cool.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But yes, he brings him into the greenhouse. He's ready with like a chainsaw to just like hack him to bits. The son sees what he thinks is a glimmer of human flesh, right? It happens in that one? Yes. Which is also part of when they bust the son and they go up to his little hiding space where they find all the iPhones. He finds a pack of cigarettes. And he goes to the son and he's like, here, while your mom's not looking, take this back. And the son's like, I quit. Don't worry about it. Throw it out. And he goes like, you throw it out. You're good with me. It's your decision. And then the next thing we see is the son on the rooftop smoking. You do get the sense he would have let the dad throw out the cigarettes and would have been so ashamed that he might have tried to avoid smoking after that. But his dad gave him the like, it's cool. Like us men have to stick together. We're in the secret club kind of speech. And then only because he's on the roof smoking does he see his dad carrying in a body. And I hate in movies like this where a character sees something way too clearly and then the movie tries to sell us this, they're not sure.
Right.
I think there is plausible deniability.
The shot is so good because he's put these tarps up in the greenhouse. You only kind of see a foot. It's a second before it moves. And you could fully believe, like, was I wrong about what I thought I was seeing?
Well, yeah, we all slaughter pigs in our greenhouses sort of late into the night.
Especially when they're like, our family is defined by the fact that we got out of that pig shit.
I mean, he is a pit master. So he does kill his own animals.
That's true.
But I like how much the line they're selling the son goes against everything he would know about his family, which is like, well, you know, my father went crazy with a pig disease and then we sold the land and like disassociated our family from that like lower class field altogether. But yes, they blackmail the guy because they know he's having affairs.
Right.
The wife
That's
takes
how
her
they
bra off to try to like seduce him.
Right.
They're like doing like a two-pronged attack at the same time.
We should mention, of course, also his tooth is hurting more and more as the. It's kind of like the Joaquin Phoenix is getting more and more COVID, or the. I like movies with that where you're kind of like the whole time you're like, and his tooth hurts more. He's not dealing with the fucking tooth.
But this is what I was saying earlier. I know. Anytime he taps, you're like, oh, right, that too.
Because
it's Tom Hanks with the cold and Bridge of Spies.
Right.
I agree with you. I always love this as a device.
And So when he has the big showdown with Seon Chol, I think is the guy in the fancy house, where he just gets drunk and pulls his tooth out. It does feel like, yes, we've been building to like this kind of grand guignol, this insanity. Like yes, I found that very funny.
On first viewing, I averted my eyes during
Tooth
that.
Stuff's a little gross.
It's a little gross,
Sure.
but this time I watched it and I felt really proud of myself. I was like, look at you, Marie.
Yeah.
You got a strong stomach.
I want to shout out.
Where's the woman who hid inside her coat watching Skinamarink?
Exactly. She's dead.
We left her in the past.
Yeah.
We bonsai'd her.
Yeah.
I want to shout out the Boilermaker shot where they show inside the cup with the shot like coming down.
It is the best beer has ever looked on screen.
Yes,
incredible.
I agree.
And this movie is like everyone's worried about him falling off the wagon. You need it to look that good. And once again, he taps his forehead and goes, no other choice. He has convinced himself after this whole scam was, I'm going to make him do rounds and rounds of shots with me, but I actually have a bowl here and I pour my shots out into the bowl, so I'm not getting drunk at all. But he is. And then once the guy makes the Boilermaker, he's like, I guess there's no way to fake this. And I'm like, it would be harder to fake this, but he's pretty quick to surrender. It looks so good. The sound of the pouring is so good. I just want to bring up, because the tree is important. They say, like, let's just bury all the iPhones so we can just settle this. If we return them to the store, to the police, or whatever it is, it makes this more of like an open case.
One quick more thing before burying is there's the scene where the mom tries to barter with the like lecherous other dad.
That's where yeah.
You
They're
did
both
say that? Okay.
bartering at the same time.
Okay.
She's trying to use his attraction to her, and then he comes in and just tries to like fucking scare him.
And she's like kind of turned on by that.
That she has the power, and that she feels like involved in, we need to do whatever it takes to get ahead, to stay alive. But they bury the phones under the tree. He's going to butcher the guy with a chainsaw. He can't do it. He keeps on like crying and hyperventilating and puking. So then he just bonsais him, buries him under the phones. Like, part of the thinking is no one's going to dig because this is already a secret plot of a crime that we're covering up.
And now digging doesn't always have to be shameful. It can be celebratory.
No, but it does fall into your well-established theory,
Night
Ben.
digging. Yeah.
If you're digging at night, nothing good
has ever come from digging at night.
The sun has set and you're digging. It's time to think about what you're doing, for sure.
So he goes to the final house of the guy who's the Instagrammer.
Yeah, the like guy that he almost dropped the potted plant on, the guy that kind of started this sort of wave of jealousy and why don't I have his job?
Views as kind of like a silly dilettante, like hype beast. I'm better than this guy.
He's never won Pulp Man of the Year.
He's not.
Yeah.
Nice Jarvis Cocker.
That's a really, really good question. He has this sort of like tricking the guy, getting into drunk that turns into a bonding, this moment where the guy talks about how overwhelmed he is by his job and he can't handle all of it.
That's the thing. You're shooting for this position, buddy,
and it sucks.
Right. A, the position sucks, and B, he's like, oh, well, maybe you convince them to hire another person.
Right. Maybe you need help.
Maybe I don't have to kill you. Maybe you get me hired.
But then, he chokes him to death, and he doesn't go for that.
He gets him super fucking drunk. Then he wants to stage it.
Right.
Where it's believable that this guy who's
like,
sort of
got
like
shit-faced and choked in his own vomit.
Right. He had a wife who left him because all of his sort of like self-created mythology of wanting to be, much like Justin Timberlake, a man of the woods, work in the pit. Like the entire thing he's selling on Instagram
is
like
a big truck.
It's an aspirational, I want to be this type of guy, that his wife was like, I hate living in the country. I hate this. Like, everything about this sucks. And you get the sense that he just like let her walk away, because he wouldn't surrender this shit. And like, here's the guy who just like lost it all to retain all the things that Lee Byung-hun thinks he needs to keep. But what if you have all of that alone? He like buries him in the dirt, then like wraps saran wrap around his mouth after he's already started puking from alcohol poisoning, then puts a funnel in his mouth and puts a bunch of pork in it, and then pours more liquid over the
nodding.
pork
Yeah.
to get him to basically choke to death on his own vomit.
Yeah. It's a little nasty.
His wife calls while he is doing this.
Yeah.
He tries to like FaceTime with her. His mouth is bleeding and swelling because he's just pulled his own tooth out.
He has.
With
and
pliers.
And he is drunk.
He is drunk now.
Which is a problem.
Yeah. And he's sort of saying to his wife, like, I just need you to trust that this is almost over.
This is the path and we're almost done. Exactly.
I'm not showing you what's happening, but everything that's happening right now looks suspicious on your end, and I just need you to trust me. At the same moment that she has successfully killed her son's concerns.
Right.
The paranoia.
About
because
the burial.
she's figured out.
She's figured out,
the
but
body
the son
is in the backyard.
Doesn't want to believe. Obviously.
She starts digging, and like there's a great shot. It's another great, like, just the right amount where she's digging down, hoping that she's not going to find a body down there, but she needs to know for certain. And you get to the moment where there's like dirt over an object, but only a thin layer, and she touches it and is just kind of like, okay, and then starts putting the dirt back on top. There's not a moment where she like pushes dirt away and you see a person's face.
Yeah.
You know, like she's constantly trying to be like, how do I maintain 1% denial of what's going on here, but then comes up with the story for the son. She thinks the son bought it. She wants
He does such an interesting thing with the like cross-cutting. Well, the swing, but also just there's like a cross-cutting between like the wife and the son having that conversation, but in two different places, and it keeps cutting between those things. So, but it looks like they're watching each other from afar. There's like, and then it also cuts to Lee Byung-hun like digging a ditch and burying the guy at the country house. I think it like could be very disorienting, but instead I found it like, I don't know, fucking cool. There are like a million things that he does in this movie that I think
I truly did not know how he did some of them.
There's stuff that like the first time I was like, why am I getting confused by this? And then I watch it the second time and I'm like, oh, there's sequences in the first like act of the movie where he is going from like basically within like sort of a montage, a present tense conversation that is then like flipping back to flashbacks to have set up how things got to this place, and like hypothetical flash forwards or his visions of the people he's talking about, where you're moving within like time and space like so quickly to kind of communicate things to the audience rather than the character's own knowledge or perspective. And he has the moment where there's like this hallucinatory connection of the son.
Yeah. It being like in the bonsai tree.
Yes.
Or it's not a bonsai tree. It's like a apple tree or whatever.
Yes. Which he buys from the rooftop when he's going to murder the other guy that he's placed now in his greenhouse. And it's like he's talking to his son at this small scale. But yeah, no, he's just like, I did what I had to do. The cops who came to the front door after the iPhone store break-in, when he's ready to be like, they got me, and it's like unrelated thing, happens to be the next morning. They circle back, I want to say slightly earlier.
They come in a few times.
They notice that there's this weird pattern of these two guys who are both in the paper industry.
Cops.
There's the main kind of partners.
They're the detectives working on the missing Papermen cases.
Sorry. The Papermen detectives are like, we have noticed that these two guys who both work in the paper industry died. Isn't that a little suspicious? And he says something like, or they don't say died. They go, these two guys have gone missing. And he goes, that's scary that both of them have died. And they go, why did you say died? And he says like, well, the way things are in the world today, if you hear someone goes missing, unfortunately, it probably means they're dead. They immediately buy that. It almost endears him to them, where they're like, this guy gets how it works.
It's a tough world.
It's a tough
and
world.
We have to deal with it.
And their conclusion is just like, looks like someone's targeting Papermen. You should keep your head on a swivel.
Right. And at the end, they come to him and they're like, yeah, it was the lady, you know, and she implicated that the guy she shot, you know, I can't say the name. I'm bad with the names. Right. But like
the wife of the first
murder victim implicates him as the gun owner, right?
Implicated her husband.
Yes.
And that
he murdered the second guy. Because they find this connection that there was an attempted merger between two companies that those two guys were trying to negotiate together that went awry, that obviously Lee Byung-hun knew nothing about.
But like that's a plausible enough reason for them
corporate
to resent
conspiracy.
Each other. And
then so one murked the other one.
But the wife, she is the one who's killed her husband, has buried him.
Yes.
So she's covering her own ass in a way too that benefits.
Right.
Our
There's
main
enough
character.
mutually assured destruction.
Accidental, but suddenly everything fits together perfectly. And they're like, you're so lucky that he didn't get to you next.
And damn it, don't we love it when everything works out?
This is what's great, is it's like, here is a classic Ben, everything works out, right?
He had a crazy plan and it all worked out.
He goes in for the meeting, and this is my favorite kind of movie ending. Anytime a movie can successfully stick this kind of landing, I'm fucking hooting and hollering in the theater. He goes in for the interview. They're like, so it's our new warehouse. It's a new interesting thing. It's a dark warehouse. And they were like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, we can save X number of dollars a month by keeping the lights off.
Right.
Because
it's all machines anyway. They don't need lights.
They don't need lights. Machines don't need lights.
Right.
And then he's like, it's all machines. And they're like, yeah, you would just be the one person overseeing the machines.
Yeah.
So the first order of business would have to be you laying off a ton of people. You don't mind, do you? And he's like, no other choice. Makes perfect sense. And then we see this guy who is just feels so triumphant. He is falling to his knees and like laughing in celebration.
He gets
I've won. I've made it.
The dog's back, and the daughter's gonna be better. Like everything's gonna work out.
She finally plays cello in front of her family members.
She's even better than they thought.
Yeah,
they realize the symbol she's been doing is her way of writing music notes. She's a genius. It's like all there. And he grew his mustache back, and he's comfortable, right? And you're like, here he is just being like, I fucking did it. I won. And you're like, you're in a giant dead warehouse with the lights being turned off. You have earplugs in because like you're constantly surrounded by just like, so you're just like in silence, in isolation all day with the lights off. I love that this is like, you're seeing him his first day on the job. You see him have to like jump around to avoid being run over by 3 separate machines. You're like, the rest of this guy's life, for as long as this job exists before they also decide he's not necessary, is trying to make sure machines don't kill him by accident. They go like, the industry's changed. No more tapping on paper, which one of the first things you see at the beginning.
Like
he's got his little wooden stick.
Yes.
You tap the paper to make sure it's all good, right?
And he's like, that's so crucial. Like,
yes,
it's part of the magic of paper making.
Exactly. And instead, they got this like fucking Tony Stark arm that's like, and it has a laser and it cuts the sheets. And he shows up on that first day with his little wooden stick, and he's tapping it just to be like, it's good to be back.
He has a fucking little iPad where he like has to like turn on like different segments of like
it's a good light.
It's so pathetic.
You're just like, how long does this fucking last? Yeah. And for what?
So what do you mean? He has Netflix back.
He has Netflix.
He's got
back.
Netflix.
He can see the floor of the beast, the mind flayer.
Yeah, and it ends with him hugging his family, them deciding that they're never going to move because they planted the tree, and that's an investment in the future. But also, it's like they got a dead body and a bunch of eyes.
Yeah,
right. They don't need anyone doing remodeling.
Now that the dogs are back, they're starting to dig it up.
Right.
Yeah. She panics that they're sniffing at the tree.
But it also, I feel like they're, we planted roots. She will never feel the same way about her husband.
We are a family, like a giant tree.
That's the tree, right? There's a big poster for this movie.
And what is the line? Like fertilizer is made from the most rotten, disgusting things. Like that, we use feces and piss and dead animals to make our,
and you get
plants
Netflix.
grow.
Get to pay for it.
David Harbour.
Yeah. Winona Ryder's still there, right?
Yeah, thank God.
Phew.
Well, they're
Joe
all
Keery?
They're all out.
Maya Hawke?
It's all over. Yeah.
No other choice.
I love it.
Barb.
Stranger Things or no other choice.
I love no other choice. I have never seen a second of an episode of Stranger Things outside of clips being played in the context of other things.
The one I showed you just now where the guy had a floor.
That's the longest clip I've seen. I feel like I've only seen Stranger Things in the context of people like cutting to like, of course, Netflix's biggest hit.
Right.
Kids
going like rolling dice.
Yeah.
Christmas. Griffin.
This had a good opening weekend.
Very strong.
I will say this.
Very limited release.
How much we were talking about
$650,000 on like one screen.
Embarrassment of riches with their international slate this year.
It also made like 20 plus mil in Korea. I think
it's a big hit. Yeah. But it basically opened in one weekend in limited release with a crazy per screen average, it is outgrossed, I think, Secret Agent. Surat has basically not gotten a release. It's done half of what Sentimental Value has done in like 3 months. Like, it does seem to be a breakout. Yeah. Who knows if it will continue to grow?
I think that Korean and Japanese films, like, younger audiences are a little more plugged into those cultures. Like, they're like, whatever. Instead of like, hey, you want to see fucking this like Bergman knockoff? I mean, I like Sentimental Value, but you know what I'm saying? The kids maybe they're rushing to it. I don't know. It's about the difference between plays and movies.
Fanning did wear that shirt that said Jochen Trier Summer.
Yeah, we love that.
That was
wasn't it like Dua Lipa did that or someone?
No, it was Elle Fanning. I think she wore it at Cannes.
I think that's right.
No, yeah. I'm sure you're right.
Elle Fanning had a good year.
Well, she did.
Yeah, she's great.
I think she's really, really good in Sentimental Value.
Charlie XCX also.
Well, she had her thing at like Coachella where she had like Sean Price Williams Summer.
Yeah, Joachim Trier Summer.
Charlie XCX is following David on Letterboxd.
Charlie XCX's. Yes, that's right.
Your close personal friend,
There's no
Charlie.
DMs, so I can simply
comment on the review.
We should have her on.
I could do that. Absolutely. I hear her movie's pretty good. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say.
Oh, The Moment?
Yeah.
Hey, this isn't the moment to say that yet.
I'll see it.
But No Other Choice opened to like 1 point.
Well, it's made... Its limited release was on one screen. It's currently made $2 million in 2 weeks of release. So it's doing pretty good. It's not in the top 10, but in the top 10, number 1 is a film that we liked and covered on this podcast, Griff.
It is called Avatar, Fire and Ash.
That's right.
I've now seen it twice. I saw it 4DX.
Same.
It ripped.
Oh, how was the 4DX?
Wonderful.
What did they do for the space drug segment?
Just kind of like a kickback.
But there was no like fog.
That like a random person on Twitter tweeted like, saw Avatar without a bra, don't do that.
Yeah.
And everyone's like quote tweeting me what, and then her section, she's like, I saw it in 4DX. But she didn't specify that in the first.
I thought that it was
makes it sound like the movie just like blows your clothes off.
I thought it was because she was so horny because of Varang.
No, it's just I think the 4DX was Jocelyn.
Wow.
I thought, once again, that's the only 4DX movie you've ever seen is Avatar.
Yeah.
The re-release.
That was enough for me.
Still have never seen any 4DX.
I think those movies, especially because they're long, they keep a pretty strong control of the dial on the 4DX.
Right.
So as not to
they're not going to exhaust
completely burn you out.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But they do they do get your nips hard.
They do.
Yeah, apparently. It's made $1 billion so far.
And
it is only January 5th. And I think everyone knows the film is a success. I've seen some people being like, is it as big? And I'm like, guys, it's made $1 billion and it's January.
We are in an interesting position where it's like the movie is going to end up somewhere between 1.5 and $2 billion.
Right.
If it ends up at 2, no one can say shit, even if there's a drop off.
I don't think anyone can say shit in any scenario.
I agree with you, but it's like we're possibly getting to the first time ever that a movie makes $1.5 billion and people go, is that good enough? You can just feel it already happening, which it's like, I don't know.
Well,
nothing makes sense anymore.
It's a hit.
It's a hit and it's a fucking awesome movie. And I'll say a lot of my little gripes were resolved on the second watch. There's still stuff I think, there are a couple things that hold it back from like true 5-star greatness in my opinion. But I think it's an excellent movie and a ripper and thrill ride.
Number 2 at the box office, Gary to Snake.
It jumped up.
It did. Well,
in like
family films at Christmas.
5?
Week 5, that's right.
And it went up 20%?
34%, my friend. Pretty good.
Yeah. So the 2 highest grossing domestic films of 2025 at this point are A Minecraft Movie and Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch ended like $200,000 behind Minecraft, but both are obviously done theatrically. Zootopia is now at 350,
365,
and Fire and Ash is currently at 2.
Fire and Ash is at 2 something. Yeah, 220. No. Domestically, it's at 305.
Okay,
right. Yeah.
So 423 is the thing to cross.
Great, let's do it. Get Lilo out of there.
And if Avatar can make it to 500, then I think everyone stops fucking complaining. But yeah,
anyone complaining.
I would just love to get Lilo and Minecraft both knocked down a little bit.
Number 3 at the box office is
The Housemaid.
Nope.
Marty Supreme.
Oh, yeah.
Marty Supreme is number 3. The Housemaid is number 4. The Housemaid quietly is going to make $200 million worldwide and at least 130 domestic. Just a big old hit because people like to go see movies. movies. Marty Supreme similarly. What's A24 thinking? Making a Josh Safdie post-war table tennis
Why did this movie need to cost $70 million?
Why do you need to talk to me?
I don't know. Maybe because they shot it in fucking New York City with a bunch of real extras.
I mean, it's got like 200 extras.
Yeah, I mean, don't.
Characters
no one actually understands how much movies cost.
And what costs money in making a movie. I think we've now gotten tricked into only understanding certain actors' salaries and the idea that CGI is expensive. And if a movie doesn't have a lot of apparent surface level CGI, people are like, why the fuck did that cost more than $5 million?
Shoot this at the table tennis place? Come on.
It's the same with One Battle After Another, where people are like, I don't understand how it costs this much. And they're like, he filmed it in California.
Well, beyond
that, that is half of it.
Sure, but beyond that, I mean, One Battle has so much fucking elaborate shit going on. Jesus Christ.
So does Marty Supreme.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying, but like these people are like, why do these movies
stop getting mad at Twitter?
Most of that movie's New York. Like,
great movie.
Just be happy this film wasn't shot in like a green screen in Bulgaria.
Number 5 at the box office. Best film of 2025. It's a huge hit. People love it. Everyone's talking about it. It's a new this week.
It's David?
No, it's Anaconda.
Oh.
Which has made $45 million domestic, almost 100 worldwide. It is chugging along basically on the back of its stars.
They're saying that movie has a $45 million production budget, which I don't quite understand.
I think it has some very aggressive tax credits.
Okay.
From Big Snake. I don't know.
From Gary?
I don't know.
I'm also like, did they get Jack Black and Paul Rudd to do like fucking Blumhouse deals where they're getting like
I don't believe
money
20% of first dollar?
I mean, maybe. Yeah, so Anaconda is out there. I haven't seen it. I won't see it till I see The Quest for the Blood Orchid or whatever it's called. I have to.
Or The Blood Orchid?
No, that's the last sequel to Anaconda. I can't be going out of order on these. Griff?
There are also like 3 direct-to-video sequels.
I gotta watch those.
We gotta watch them all. And of course, they're our next Patreon series. You and I just keep saying, like, if they had just been like Christmas Day, here's a movie. It's Jack Black.
It's called Guys.
And Paul Rudd. It's called Guys.
They live in a fucking house.
It takes place in a
city. They go out.
And they drink beers and they fart one time.
It's truly like I'm Switch in the fucking Matrix. So they're like, comedies are back. And I'm like, not like this.
Not like this. But truly, like
showing her the Anaconda trip.
Show us 2 comedy stars we love in a movie called Guys.
They don't have to pick up any guns.
2 comedy stars who have not been able to make just a kind of pure grown-up comedy in a decade have been stuck in CGI shit. And we still love them. And you're like, what if we promise you they're really funny in this? We'd be like, yes. And then the pitch for Anaconda is like, what?
They were kids when Anaconda came out. I'm like, let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
No, they weren't. I was alive when it came out.
Anaconda came out after Clueless. The fuck are you talking about?
Oh, boy. Number 6 at the box office, of course, is my film that I made in my image, David. I hope you all enjoyed it.
Speaking of Reddit, do you guys get the movie theater employee subreddit served to you?
Good sub.
No. So what did they say?
It is fascinating, but I was reading some thread where they were talking about like, so like which crowd is the worst of all of the Chris. Right. The movie theater employee subreddit, they all agreed that the David crowds were by far the worst.
Oh wow!
They say that
because they all brought slings with rocks in them.
I did notice this, that they all say the church group crowds tend to be the most entitled.
Interesting.
I started reading the subreddit because of Minecraft and Chicken Jockey and everyone being like,
like being like, what
sharing
is happening?
The war stories. And it's been interesting since then to see them talk about like which movies are a problem. And also for them, they're like frustrated by Hollywood scheduling where they're like for 6 weeks, no one's been coming in
for a while.
And then like 3 big movies the same weekend. And we're all just going to have to work like 20 hours.
What can I tell you? I mean, it's a thing about Avatar where, you know, this movie's doing well. It's not, you know, and you're like, oh, the comp wise, it's a little below Way of Water. And then you look at Way of Water and you're like, damn, it was the only thing out there when that came. And like, this is a more, I mean, there's great stuff in theaters like David and Anaconda, you know?
But
but there's Housemaid.
There was a great stat, which was like the weekend that Way of Water opened, the like combined top 10 box office that weekend was like 90% Way of Water.
Right. It was the only game in town.
Versus Fire and Ash had like 4 movies performing above $20 million.
Yes, it was first time it happened in years.
Right. And the Avatar, of course, had the like first weekend to itself, second weekend, Sherlock Holmes and Squeak will come out. That was at the time the biggest weekend of all time where you had like multiple movies. But it's just generally better if multiple things are doing well.
We love product, such as the SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants.
The ultimate example, I've been saying this for fucking months. Why didn't they release that in September, October?
Yeah,
There was
that's a dumb movie to release
There was no family film for months. They would have gotten such easy automatic money.
The number of parents who have texted me over this winter break, I guess I'll go see SpongeBob. I'm like, you would have been doing that.
Yep.
When there was no movie.
Instead, it's competing with like seeing Zootopia for the second time.
Well, and kids love Song Sung Blue, which is number 8.
I went to the last Nighthawk trivia of the year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Shout out Shay and Kevin again.
Shout out
run
again,
the best trivia
Shay
night
and
in New York City.
There was a question that was, what is the subtitle of the new SpongeBob movie?
The SpongeBob titles are so annoying.
We did not get it right.
Yeah.
I have watched that fucking Ice Spice video.
Yeah.
Like 20 times.
Here's what's annoying.
And I still didn't know that this.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
The first one is called The SpongeBob SquarePants Movie. And then over a decade later, the second one is called The SpongeBob Movie Sponge Out
of Water. Yeah.
The third one is called The SpongeBob Movie Sponge on the Run. And the fourth one is called The SpongeBob Movie Search for SquarePants. But at some point, they just decide the titling structure is the SpongeBob movie, drop SquarePants, and then the subtitle always reuses Sponge or SquarePants.
Yeah, the fact that they reused SquarePants really threw me for a loop.
They're so murky. There are no numbers. I hate it. I still have not seen the fourth, and I like SpongeBob, and I
saw the trailer
defend the movie
in front of Zootopia 2, expecting my daughter to like it. She didn't like that there was a pirate in it.
I think the first two movies are
Thought
both
it was scary,
quite excellent, and the third movie, which was planned for theatrical and went straight to Paramount Plus, I think is quite stinky. And so I've been a little dubious about this one.
Everyone's sort of mixed on this one.
I hate that they fucking jumped to CGI. The first one is all 2D. The second one is 90% hand-drawn, and then the final set pieces, they come out of water, and they're CGI in our world. And then 3 and 4 are just entirely CG.
Mr. Krabs, he's there.
He's great. Mr. Krabs is so great.
Number 8, Song Sung Blue. Haven't seen it. Griff's a big fan.
I enjoyed it a lot. Kate Hudson is pretty good in it, and it's pretty nice to see her deliver. Beyond pretty good. She's very good.
Shout out to Eddie Vedder.
Yeah. The guy who plays Eddie Vedder is not as good.
Real Eddie Vedder rules.
Oh, John Beckwith. Yeah. Wow. Calling him out. Belushi's in this?
No. Oh, Jim? Yes. I thought you were
John's not in that one.
I thought you were asking if someone plays John Belushi in the movie like Eddie Vedder. No, Jim is in it. Jim is giving quite a large performance.
I don't know why I thought that was so funny.
I don't either.
It was funny.
Michael Imperioli is in it, and he's a delight.
Yeah.
It's got good people in it.
Number 9 at the box office.
Kate Hudson's really good.
Is Griffin's favorite film of the year, Wicked for Good.
It took me a while to catch up with that one. I saw it finally in anticipation of us doing our Patreon episode on it. I cannot get over how bad they fumbled that.
It's a bit of a tough
I'm
thing.
excited to watch it.
It was a bad idea to begin with.
I still haven't seen it. I would like to be on the
absolutely
the Patreon.
Please, insist. You will be.
You'll get me through
your mind will be blown because we were like
pile of shit.
Danger ahead. Bad idea to split them up.
Yeah. Well, good idea and bad idea.
Yeah,
First
made
movie
more money.
really benefited from it.
They fucked it up so much worse than I anticipated.
It's that Simpsons gag where Homer's holding like all of his back fat.
Yes.
And like the front looks
truly.
Good.
Yes.
Number 10 at the box office, Griffin's favorite film of the year, Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
I did watch the first Five Nights at Freddy's.
Here it's not so good.
For the first time.
And?
It's not good.
I hear this one's really
I'm excited to watch 2 now.
This one cleared 120 domestic, despite, I don't think I've seen one positive reaction to this film. Like, even the like brain dead teenagers seeing it are like kind of disappointing.
I have heard it is barely legible.
Yes.
The lore of those movies is so strange.
Yeah.
The lore of, I guess, the whole Freddy-verse.
Really.
Yeah.
But you know what? Directed by a woman, Emma Tammy.
Yeah, she did both of them.
So there you go.
Yeah.
We support ladies
yep,
making films.
Mayor,
woman. Of course, of Easttown over here. And we got Hamnet, No Other Choice, Eternity, a film I find people have been very like sort of mixed positive on. I watched it and I was like, I don't like this at all.
The trailer made my teeth hurt. I kept seeing the trailer for months, and I was really turned off by it.
I could not vibe with Miles Teller. He was, to me, a terrible casting decision for like this kind of like, I'm an ordinary Joe. Like, you know, like, and then Callum Turner as the sort of one who got away. I was like, it was a reel where I was like, are there no men? Do we not have like charming men? Where are the men?
Wait, you don't like Callum Turner?
No.
So you don't want him to be the next James Bond?
No, fuck off.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'll give the guy, if he's James Bond, like, I'll give him a shot to convince me or whatever, but I am not convinced.
I don't get him at all.
No.
Okay,
I don't think he's a bad actor, but I just like, I do not get it. He like bounces off me.
Do you guys know how he met Dua Lipa?
No. How?
She's
Did he
so
follow her on
gorgeous.
Letterboxd?
No.
Is he like a king poster?
I think they met through friends.
he like Kenny
Wow,
Loggins?
so far I'm gripped. This
And
is
then,
thrilling
no,
stuff.
get this. They both found out they were reading the same book.
Okay,
What
which
book?
was?
It was like a book,
Poops?
the book that, you know what? You guys are being assholes.
What? What was the book?
What is the book? It won like what is like the big prize for American literature?
The National Book Award?
The Booker Prize?
Yeah, what won the National Book Award last year?
Oh,
I'll
boy.
find out for you.
All right.
I'll get right on that.
Yeah.
Trust
Yes, Trust.
Okay.
Okay.
by Hernan Diaz.
Yes. So they both were reading Trust. They saw that they each had the books on them, and then they realized that they were at the same part in the book. And he said, well, at least we're starting off on the right page.
I'm Dua Lipa. I'm like, remove this man.
No,
I'll
I
get my
love it. I
goons.
think it's so cute. I
She's
think
so
they're
pretty.
both really
just say it.
hot. And
I don't see it. But
okay,
sure.
you know what? Fine. He's not for you. He's
No.
for me.
I guess so. I mean, well, apparently he's for Dua Lipa.
And I like Dua Lipa.
Oh,
And I'm
I like
a
her
woman.
too.
No, I said I'm like her.
Oh,
We're both-
you're like,
we're both
you
women.
like Dua Lipa
Yeah.
are a woman.
What's the Dua Lipa song?
The song, she's got multiple.
She's a
Give me
talented
one.
singer.
Well, she's got the one from the Barbie movie. That's like dance the
I
night
love
I
that.
away.
like that one.
My
Yeah.
daughter
This is
fucking
all it
loves
takes.
that song.
Fall in
She
love
loves
with
that
me.
song.
That's the
Dance
best
the
Barbie
night.
song. Yeah. That's the one that
They're
should have won the
That's a
Oscar.
solid pop song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
I
got
just-
a lot of solid pop songs.
Yeah, I know it's like I know of her, but I just feel like I could
Levitating?
not name
Levitating
That's a
is
good
really
one.
bouncy. The album that she
Levitating.
released during COVID is like no skips, pure like disco-y pop bops. Her most recent album, kind of a flop. But I like her. I think she's very unproblematic.
She's from West Hampstead.
Yeah.
Not that far from where I grew
She
up.
went to, when I went to Hampstead Heath, I
She
walked
went
by
to Parliament Hill.
I walked by a school and I was like, ooh, what
Was it-
cool
yeah, Parliament Hill is right
kids
by
go to
Hampstead
this
It's a
school?
state
Because I
school.
saw some like kids outside like smoking cigs and looking hot. And I'm like, oh, Dua Lipa went there.
David,
Well, the
I
thing-
was sorry. No, finish your thought.
The thing
I'm
with
just eager
Parliament
to tell
Hill.
you something.
Okay, fine. Is that it's in a sort of consortium with 4 schools: Ackland Burley, William Ellis, and the St. Union. My brother went to Ackland Burley, so he was in the. Anyway, what was your?
I was working. I did this little part in a film shoot that will go unnamed, and there
Draft day
were-
2.
Draft day 2. Always be drafting. There were several British actors working on it, and they were like making small talk about like, where do you live in London? And one of them said, I'm in Islington.
Sure.
And
you were
the
like-
strength it took
To not say Dislington.
to just literally close
I mean,
my
that's a
throat
very-
so the words couldn't jump
Look,
out.
I lived there from 95 to 97. It's a very fancy place to live these days. I think it's a
Wow.
very cool neighborhood.
You made it hip? You gentrified it?
I think I moved in as what?
Well, I was just gonna ask, what episode did that come up on?
It's fucking Totoro.
Oh God! Don't listen to that one if you've never heard of this inside joke.
Dislington!
Islington. I bring up Islington. I don't even know. Is it just that it's a funny word, Islington. The whole thing, it's where Tony Blair lived. And the fucking day he got elected prime minister, so that's 97. So we probably lived there for 2 years. You know, in England, when you get elected, you just move the day that it happens. Like there's no
Oh, wow.
transition.
Okay.
And I remember my mom being like,
They kick you out.
you know, it had been 17 years of Tory rule. It was this big deal. Like
Mhm.
Labour won. And Tony Blair, you know, mixed record. But, you know, this is the big, he got elected. Yay. My mom was like, we're fucking going. Like, let's go watch him move. And I shoved my way to the front because I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So they let me like go to the front to watch him.
So you watched him.
I watched them
move?
like wave to all the crowd.
Was he like carrying boxes?
Yeah, he was suitcases and shit. And Cherie was there, all his kids.
Big ears. He had big ears.
Big ears. Sticky outy ears. That was his like. Yeah.
Wait, so you lived in England when like the Spice Girls were like?
I lived in England when the Spice Girls were happening. Yes, and I had this.
I can't even imagine
VHS tape. And when like Britpop was happening. I mean,
I know,
like,
but
cool Britannia, England.
David, I'm familiar, but I really Spice Girls or
I had this VHS tape that was sort of like a behind the scenes Spice Girls thing. It was it came with the first album, like it was that I watched over and over again. There was just like talking head interviews with them and shit. It was like the most slapped together.
Were you
scary?
You were scary?
Obviously.
I was gonna guess Sporty.
I always look.
I was gonna say Ginger.
No, I was Ginger.
You were Ginger.
You were baby.
You're baby.
I was Ginger. I was a little bit too Ginger.
I always insisted on playing. Like we would like role play Spice Girls.
Yeah,
and I always insisted on being baby.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm to be clear. I was saying I had a crush on Spice.
That's what I was saying.
No,
too.
I know.
Yeah, we didn't so much role play.
No, I know. But everyone has like their favorite Spice Girl. Mine was baby, but people would be like, "But you have brown hair. You have to be posh."
The girls at my school would role play Spice Girls, and I would role play being the manager. I was like, who's the guy? They must have a manager.
You're Richard Grant.
I would like pretend to like, it was before the movie came out, but I'd be like, we'll get your microphones.
No, I was a big Scary fan. You know, Scary got a lot of guff. You know, people were mean to, Sporty got a lot of guff and people were mean to Mel C. And I think even as a kid, I felt bad about it. I didn't like that. You know, I felt
why were they mean to Mel C?
She was ugly. Like,
but she's not. She also had the best voice out of anyone in the group.
Yes, she was the best singer and dancer. I'm
she had
talking
the biggest
about
solo hit.
I turn to you.
Yes, big.
She had some bangers.
That song was so big though.
Yeah. Mel B and Mel C, I feel like both released like a couple records that charted.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it crazy that Mel B had a baby with Eddie Murphy?
It's crazy,
dude. And she had to like fucking chase him.
Eddie Murphy was like, I swear to God, that's not my baby. He was like, prove it. And she was like, here. Her baby was like doing the laugh and sticking bananas in
Jerry had like a genuine solo hit, but it was while the Spice Girls were. It was after she'd left.
I don't think it was a US hit though.
No, but in Britain it was like a solid seller, and Victoria did like the one release, and everyone was like, okay. And she was like, you know what? I know. Forget it. I won't try that again.
I'm so glad we got Spice Girls talking.
I was obsessed. I was very obsessed with the Spice Girls.
They were humongous.
I was, obsessed with Oasis and
Ben
Blur.
is holding up his Pulp Man of the Year award.
Yes, of course. No, Spotify was gracious enough to send us a bunch of junk.
Excuse me, a bunch of worthwhile merchandise.
They sent over a water bottle with an included MagSafe stand.
Well, right,
for your phone.
It has the name of the show branded on it, which is cool, but it had like a manual.
And we're like, why?
It's a water bottle.
It's like put liquid in and sip. Like, what the fuck is it gonna say?
Put water in mouth, swallow.
Don't spill on body.
No, it has like a MagSafe like ring at the top of the bottle, and I was like, oh, is it like a water bottle that charges your phone? No, you can just tilt it up to get like a good selfie angle
to make content with.
Yep.
It also then included
I love Sling and Ten.
A trophy that has my name on it for some
Ben
reason,
Husley.
and it says the Crate Digger. Raft Awards 2025.
What does that mean?
I have no idea.
We don't know.
Who knows?
We don't know.
But AI is probably just doing this without you telling anyone.
Sure, but I do want to just share
sending packages.
Having previously worked for Spotify for a couple of years, I had pitched a show because Spotify at this point, I feel like there's maybe a couple of ringer shows that still do this format, music and talk.
Yeah,
where they're able to play a full song.
That kind of classic radio
Spotify. Why not?
Format that you love.
Take advantage.
I pitched a show called Crate Digger.
Okay.
Wait.
So then that must be
related to that.
It's definitely not, because I heard on the Seth Meyers and Lonely Island podcast
that they also got a Crate Digger
One of them
award?
Also got a random award with Crate Digger. So
what
specifically Crate Digger?
Yes.
All right.
It's also interesting that the award is addressed only to you.
I don't know.
I gotta go.
And it has Digger in it.
Someone gets
coming to theaters 2026. Interrupt you. I also loved that I was like, hey, just double checking. They only sent one water bottle, and you guys were like, yeah, you can have it. The water bottle says, the inscription is, Blank check with Griffin and David. So the water bottle acknowledges that at least 2 people do the podcast.
Maybe it thinks you guys will share, you know?
That'd be cute.
You
stick 2 straws.
Have you seen Ann Lee yet, Griff?
No, Ann Lee's my next viewing.
I
You
saw
seen
it.
The Plague?
No, that's also on my
You'll like
to-see
that.
list. I've been doing some hyper catch-up. I was behind for a little while because of...
Plague got
work.
watched, but I don't like going to IFC Center.
Why not? Love
David's
going
got the plague.
Because they don't have like a lobby. It's a lot of NYU students.
You like the lobby,
I just
huh?
don't fuck with it. I'm
there.
sorry.
In the morning.
I love
There's
going
never
to IFC.
anyone
I
at
work.
IFC Center.
I work.
It is nice that
please.
IFC does tend to do really early screenings. Like sometimes you can sneak in like a fucking 9:30 a.m. at IFC, especially for movies that have been out for a while.
Yeah, but that means I have to commute at peak commute
I need to
time
see
into Manhattan.
The Plague. I need to see Testament of Ann Lee. I need to see Resurrection. I need to see the Jarmusch. I need to see The Voice of Hin Rajab. Those are my major ones, I feel like, that I'm trying to knock out right
I have
now.
yet to see the Jarmusch or Resurrection. Those are kind of my only
I got a
two
moosh.
big remaining ones.
You got a moosh.
I think I'm going to stop watching movies.
No. They're arguably the only good thing we have left.
I don't know. It's like a big commitment.
You can
What are you
redefine
doing?
your rules.
Do you know what I did all break?
Slept?
It's not going to be
Slept,
a good answer. You
and
watched that fucking hockey blowjob show.
I watched the hockey blowjob show.
Yeah.
It is funny
Which,
they
by
called
the
it
way,
that.
you don't see
I
any
know.
penis in that fucking show.
It's all
None of
butts
these
and
shows show you
suggestion.
penis. That's
Yeah,
the
of course.
terrible thing.
And
That's the terrible.
Now that's the terrible thing.
I played The Sims,
Marie,
which is the sign.
maybe we should take this off,
All right.
Mike. But are you
We
depressed?
definitely got to wrap up.
Sorry.
Take us out, Griff.
Hey, next week,
Yeah.
starting a new miniseries.
I've been playing a lot of Civ 6, by the way, so no judgment here. Yeah.
Is that what you call I guess you're The Sims 5. Your family.
No, Civ 6, Civilization
Oh,
6.
I think you said Sims 6.
Another video game
But
that
I'm
is
like, you know
old
what?
and
You
there's
could
no-
be this. You're literally The Sims. That's why you don't play it.
We are the Sims. I certainly do not need to imitate being at home on my computer. That's not an experience that I'm longing for. Sorry. What is it, Griffin?
The
You got a
deve-
rueful smile.
A rueful smile.
Rueful.
The developers who made my beloved, dearly departed Disney Infinity, a game I was obsessed with 10 years ago in which all Disney IP was mashed together, have a new game that's been a giant flop called Funko Fusion,
Oh no!
in which everything is mashed together through Funko and Funko Pops, but they only have access to Universal. So it's the weirdest collection of things. It is Wicked, Scott Pilgrim, Hot Fuzz, The Thing, Jurassic World only, I want to say, Back to the Future. He-Man is in there. The Umbrella Academy, and maybe one other thing I'm forgetting. Anyway, that's the terrible video game I'm playing right now.
Wow. And Ben, what are
I'm
you
a
playing?
little Funko Pop and I collect
Oh, I
coins
started
and
playing
shit.
Hades 2. It fucking rules.
I've cracked away at Hades too. Good times.
Yeah.
Good
I never was able to beat Hades 1, but I
Punch,
do
punch,
just
punch.
enjoy
You just get in there,
having
muck up some skulls.
Just get in there and muck
having
up
a
some
little
skulls.
fun, learning a little bit about Greek mythology.
Learn a little bit exactly
Mhm.
about these hot gods and goddesses. Yeah, goodbye. We'll see you next
Next
week.
week.
Ratcatcher.
Lynn Ramsey kicking off our 6-week Lynn Ramsey
Five.
miniseries.
5
5-week Lynn Ramsey miniseries, one of my favorite filmmakers on the
Turn your
planet.
subtitles on for Ratcatcher.
Heavy accents.
Yeah.
Followed by Peter Weir.
After that, but we'll do 5 weeks of Lynn Ramsey, and we will do Sam Raimi's new film as well.
People were so like, we had the episode where we were like, and our next miniseries is Lynn Ramsey. We tricked you. You all thought we were doing Peter Weir next. We recorded that, and then we started teasing Lynn Ramsey. So by the time it came out, everyone knew it was Lynn Ramsey, and then we're like, you fucking idiots.
It's Peter Weir all along.
Over on the Patreon, actually, on this date,
Oh my
our
God.
episode on The Wiz was released.
Oh, good. Honestly, a fun episode. A cool movie.
Yeah,
It's got little foibles, but cool movie.
No, I think a great episode, and it was tough with like the holidays and breaks and everything that my therapist was off duty, so the Wiz episode got to function as kind of an on-mic therapy session.
Oh, I can't wait.
We
to
dig
listen.
a lot into my childhood and why do I like this movie so much. There were some discoveries made. Nothing sensational.
No, it's not like like a wrenching
but there was
episode.
a real, why did you watch this 40 times and cry kind of
So,
thing going on.
For that kind of bonus content and so much more, please, sign up for Blank Check special features, $5 a month. Or if you want an ad-free, We got an ad-free tier,
Plus up to
$10 a
that.
month.
Yeah. And listen to Critical Darlings.
Critical Darlings, which I should
On this very
mention,
feed.
is the only thing that happens on our main feed that will not be going onto the ad-free tier on Patreon for a number of reasons that are too complicated to get into. With our partnership with Vulture, I understand if you are someone who is supporting this show and paying for the premium of the clean feed, a thing I value above all else. I totally get it, and I apologize for the annoyance. It would be appreciated if you could support Critical Darlings by just downloading that one episode every Thursday. That's what I do with shows that I cherry pick. I don't subscribe. I go over to the feed and I just hit the save button and I just keep those episodes. That's what I'm doing. I understand your frustration.
Don't ask me. I don't care.
I'm not asking you for anything.
Do we have any more things we need to apologize for?
Definitely.
And sorry for the audio cues that take you in and out of the ad breaks. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry we do this thing that's supposed to be
jarring for you,
Oh, boy.
even though so many other shows do it.
I'm gonna go.
But hey, my bad.
Festivus delayed. Grievances getting aired.
I'm sorry that this podcast is about movies. Movies are problematic. Bad people have made movies before. Film used to be projected on nitrate prints. Those caught on fire. Those would cause accidents.
I'm sorry that I called out my parents for getting Wyclef Jean and will.i.am confused when I got Vic Mensa and Vince Staples confused.
Yes. Sorry for AT-aliens, which we called alt-aliens. The Outcast album that we all professed to love and didn't know how to pronounce. We are white. It goes...
I'm sorry, we're white.
I'm sorry. I apologize for it every day. I'll keep apologizing for it. I assure you I'm not proud of it.
Hey, we're human.
We're
make
human.
mistakes.
We make mistakes. Always seems like only other people get the breaks.
It's like, what do you freaking want from
Are we
me?
going to keep all of this in the episode?
This is all absolutely in the episode.
I'm a freaking guy. I make a mistake. Come on.
This guy is great, and I'm promising you that he's going to be a big part of the show in 2026. Thank you all for listening. And as always, we're sorry. Sorry. We're so sorry.
Blank Check with Griffin and David is hosted by Griffin Newman and David Sims. Our executive producer is me, Ben Hosley. Our creative producer is Marie Barty Salinas, and our associate producer is AJ McKeon. This show is mixed and edited by AJ McKeon and Alan Smithy. Research by JJ Birch. Our theme song is by Lane Montgomery and the Great American Novel, with additional music by Alex Mitchell. Artwork by Joe Bowen, Ollie Moss, and Pat Reynolds. Our production assistant is Minnick. Special thanks to David Cho, Jordan Fish, and Nate Patterson for their production help. Head over to blankcheckpod.com for links to all of the real nerdy shit. Join our Patreon, Blank Check Special Features, for exclusive franchise commentaries and bonus episodes. Follow us on social at Blank Check Pod. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, Checkbook, on Substack. This podcast is created and produced by Blank Check Productions.